old No Maniacs. Welcome into another edition of Some Extra Sauce. Hey, listen, this is again going to be a rough show because I'm dealing with limited resources over here. My computer is janky. It's even more screwed up than the last time I talked to you guys on Nomad at Night on Sunday. I've been trying to work with it. And you want to double the trouble right about now. Just got kicked out of my email, my working email for the Nomad Network YouTube channel. So I ain't going to be able to get back into that for 24 hours to top all that off. And so I just got, man, you know what? The universe is just trying me right now. Shout out to Crimson, first person in the chat today. Shout out to Super No Maniac, Crimson, you dig, with the wrench. Hey, man, listen. Today's going to be a good show anyway. Let me tell you guys what's going on. First of all, Kids is out of town doing some after hours work tonight. He let me know that yesterday. And so we're just adjusting right now. And my guy, Chef Trips, is in the building. He's ready to cook something up. We're going to get him going here in a minute, but we're going to chat it up for a few minutes. Yeah, man, I really, really probably needed some alcohol tonight. And I'm going to get me some here in a few. Because I'm really frazzled right now because it's just like the universe is trying me. I want to be a great Bears commentator. I want to be a great Bears content creator. And the universe is trying me right now. It's giving me everything it's got. But I ain't going to complain, man, because it's damn sure somebody out there that's got it worse than me. So why you don't see the normal some extra sauce background up there is because I need to make sure that people know. And let me give a special shout out to the first person to send in a donation. That is Darian Denham. Shout out to Darian Denham for his donation, trying to help me get this new MacBook so I can get this thing going back to where it needs to be going. Yeah, man, shout out to him, man. I really appreciate it, and I won't forget it, man. Trust me when I tell you, Darian, if you can hear me, super, super duper thank you, man. So I encourage everybody, if you can, and you're willing, man, please help me out right about now. Lord knows I need you. No man needs you like an MF right about now. But without further ado, let me do this right quick so you guys know what's crack-a-lacking. Hold on 1 minute. Here we go. Oops, wrong one. Boy.
Chef Trips. Chef Trips. Chef Trips. Chef Trips. A motherfucker in the kitchen. And it will be beautiful.
And without further ado, my favorite motherfucker in the kitchen, my guy, Chef Trips, is in the building. What's going on today, man? What we cooking up, dog? I'm hungry.
Hello. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the kitchen of Chef Trips. I'm your owner and proprietor, Chef Trips, also known as a MFer in the kitchen. And I'd like to say hello to all of the maniacs tuning in. And for tonight's dish, I will be making something very simple you can have for lunch or a very easy, cheap dinner. And it is what we call the fried bologna with caramelized onion grilled cheese sandwiches, and gonna make a beautiful pot of tomato soup to go with it, and maybe some taco chips or a pickle.
Can I get some? So, can I request some extra blisters on that thing?
What would you like on there?
Extra blisters on it. Blister it up.
So you wanted a little burnt.
Oh, that's my girlfriend request, man. You know, she over here getting, in my ear right now. She giving me a little sign language. Burn it up.
She likes it charred.
She likes it charred. Yeah. Yes, sir.
That is a very good a way to get the flavors, because you get the char on the outside and you get the meat on the inside. And what the bologna are basically flattened out hot dogs. So kind of the same thing.
Delicious stuff.
So as we get started, we can show the skillet can.
There you go.
And I am heating up the skillet to a medium low. And on the back burner, we will be pouring in a Butovo tomato soup. And then we have to add a can of the water, and you want to give it a little slosh around to get all of the remnants of the soup off the sides.
So that old soup and sandwich deal going on. I never knew anything about it until I went to college, man. Went over to somebody's house and they cooked for me. Their mom cooked for me. Some soup and a sandwich. You either got one or the other in my house.
Yes, sometimes they make the soup and the sandwich is a good winter hearty meal to keep you warm, or in the summertime when you don't want to do a lot of cooking, it makes it easy and it's also very tasty. So I will put a little of the olive oil into the skillet, and we can see that it is starting to shimmy, 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 which means it is getting warm. And then we will introduce some sliced onions. Now, I sliced them in half. We don't have to worry about separating them, as they will separate as they caramelize. And
Chef,
there is nothing like the taste of sweet caramelized onions.
Chef, can I leave you with a question while I go grab me a beverage?
Please do.
Okay. Are you localized in the Chicago area? Are you in the Chicago area? Is that the locale?
I am about 20 miles south of the Cheddar Curtain in Illinois. I am in the Rockford, Illinois area.
Okay, so you do know that the Bulls, Chicago Bulls, are in the draft tonight, and their pick is about 3 picks away, right?
Yes, they were looking to possibly trade Kobe White and Alonzo Ball.
You think so? I think that was all smoke.
Well, who knows? Because AK, he's an idiot as a general manager.
I think I like him, man. I think I like what he's doing. I like what he's doing. He's getting a lot of slack. You know what, Chef? I think because that first lineup that he put together, that first core team that he put together, I think we're having a different conversation if we have Lonzo Ball healthy. You know what I mean?
Well, that is understandable because the orientation of the Vooch and the DeMar and the Zoe, they were very good.
Yes.
But that lasted about 20, 30 games. And then for the next 4 years, AK did shit.
Yeah, I get it.
And so now he got an extension, and instead of getting more picks for Alex Caruso from the Oklahoma City Thunder, who won the championship with the help of Alex Caruso, and we got the opportunity to pay the young Australian kid $30 million a year for fun, I guess. I do not know. But that is the predicament that the AKME have this Chicago Bulls team in.
Yes. Hey, Crimson, we talking basketball now, but we're going to get to some Bull stuff kind of probably after this draft pick and after the Chef is done whipping up his thing here, man. We're going to get into some Bull stuff some Bear stuff pretty heavy here. So please stay tuned, be patient. We're going to get it. We're going to get into it a little bit. But let me grab a beverage trip if you don't mind, Chef.
And just for go ahead, and while you do, I will tell the Nomaniacs that while the onions are caramelizing, I will be using 2 different spreads for the grilled cheese sandwiches. One, I will be using the olive oil mayonnaise for the outside to get it nice and toasty, and for the other, I will be using the unsalted butter. But they will both be beautiful. And if you have any questions, be sure to let the Nomad know, and he will read them off to me as I cannot see the screen. But also make sure that you do subscribe to my channel with the rest of the Sports Chicago Style crew at Sports Chicago Style. And that is the YouTube channel. That is also the .com, and on the Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Blue Sky. We appreciate your support. And also, since we have a little time here for me to talk, be sure to check out the latest video that we put up at Sports Chicago Style, which discusses the rookies of the 2025 Chicago Bears, and Coach Tripping did a musical video. It is very, Very, very cool.
My bad, coach. I mean, chef. I'm back. I'm looking at something on this. Is that a proposed trade by the Phoenix Suns? What are we talking about here? What is this? What is this?
As
Somebody?
the
Anybody?
Phoenix Suns just got traded the Kevin Durant's, they
Yeah.
have more draft capital to utilize.
Yes. Yes. I think basically Phoenix robbed that other team who was at Houston. They robbed them. Kevin Durant is I think he's 2 years over the hill, to be honest with
He's a very good player, but he is like 45, 75 years old now.
you. What up, Don? I see Don just busted up in here.
The Don Burr of the Dons?
Don Burr.
What's new, Pussycat? Whoa, whoa, whoa. What's new, Pussycat?
Don, I ain't seen you in a while, man. It's good to see you, straight up.
And as we see now, our onions are starting to get the golden caramelization, and the longer you cook, the more golden they get, but also the more thinner they get as the onions will cook away. So as long as you want a little crunch and a little flavor, you do not want to make the heat too high or keep the onions on too long.
Have you, Chef? Have you taken a look at any of these college guys coming out in the NBA right about now? You familiar with any of them other than Cooper Flag?
The only one that I'm familiar with is the one that looks like a dunk da dunk.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
And I believe his name is Ace.
Oh,
Ace something. He just kind of looks a little slow.
Hey, Don said, ain't nothing going on. He said, what this food cooking now? Some cereal? And he laughed.
Cereal is very good, but unless it's hot cereal, you do not need to cook it. So no, Pussycat, that is not what we are making.
Hey, you wow. No, but Ace, everybody jumped on that whole bandwagon and got mad because the guy didn't want to do a workout. Like why do we need to work out? Everything you need to see is on film. Unless I was injured sometime during late in the season and you want to make sure I'm healthy, you know damn well you want to draft me. So what the hell do I want to do running around here doing all this jumping and running around for you for? I've seen it all on tape. I was with it.
But the funny thing is the Utah Jazz, the team that drafted the Ace Bailey, was one of the teams on his list that he did not want to go to.
Yeah.
So he got drafted by someone that he said he did not want to play for. So this will be some drama that we will see what works out.
Hey.
And now, as you can see, I am ready to pull the onions off as they have a nice color. I don't know how much of the color you can see on the camera, but I do not want to cook them too much as I like a little more crunch, but the caramelization has definitely kicked in.
You definitely like a lot more crunch, don't you, Chef? Because them damn things pretty much raw.
Well, they've been sauteing for a few minutes now. They are not raw, but not totally caramelized, if you will, all the way down. And that is because they are also going into the sandwich, and there will be more heat added there. So there will be a little more cooking being done with the onions.
Chef, I got to tell you something. I'm going to tell No Maniacs this live. It is so good to see you tonight, man, because you have no idea all the crap I've been going through. And this for the first time since I started doing podcasts and we started doing shows together. This is like the first time, the last couple of shows is the only time I've ever really dreaded having to do a podcast. I always look forward to them. I always love getting together with you guys and doing this stuff, but not being able to function the right way really, really sets me back, and it just gets me into the wrong spirit, man. And I got bright when I seen you come in here tonight, man. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your efforts, man. I can smell this through the TV, man.
You are very welcome. And now as we are putting the bolognas into the skillet, you want to make a little X in the center so that the bologna does not pucker up.
Nice. So Big
And you
Boy,
get those bubbles.
just so you know, Chef, Big Boy from Duke just went to, I believe, the Houston. No, where did he just go? Houston Rockets. He's gonna be a force, man. It's gonna be a
What
force.
pick are they on now?
This is number 10 pick. We're gonna get to Portland right now. That's number 11.
And as we can see, if your fire is a little bit hot under the soup, it will boil over a little bit, but that is not a big deal.
Looking good, man. Looking good.
And
Like,
also for the tomato soup, I like to throw in a little bit of the basil
hey,
or Italian seasoning, whichever one you prefer.
definitely basil. Definitely, but he actually can't go wrong with either. Or both.
I can get it out with the camera here. There we go.
Can't go wrong. Boy, you got that thing looking good as a government check on here.
Mm-hmm. We're going to go with the Italian, which has basil in it.
It does. I think it's got a little basil, a little thyme in it.
That is I think it's basil, it's thyme, and it's not parsley, but something else like that.
Something. Got all them leaves, leafy greens in there.
And we want to give our bolognas a little turn so that they cook evenly.
Hey, fried bologna. I'm never gonna get too old. I'm never gonna. Hey, who knows? My beliefs might change, and I might not eat it no more. But I'll never get too old. I love the taste of bologna. I love the taste of hot dogs. Love it.
The processed meat is very, very good.
I love it. It's like I grew up eating it. You know what I mean? It's because that's what was there. You know, you eat it when it's there, or you don't eat nothing.
Because many nights, sometimes for dinner, you have to have poke and grit. Do you know what poke and grit is?
No.
Poke out your mouth and grit your teeth, because ain't no food.
Yep. I had some nights like that. My grandma hate to hear about it, but it's the truth. You know, we all grew up in different spectrums of who had what, and I can confidently tell you, we ain't never have shit my whole life, really, man. So, to be honest with you, hey, whatever was there, man, it was some rough nights, bro.
But you are here now. We are here now. So even though the times were rough, we made it true, and we can teach the younger generation on some of our pitfalls and mistakes.
That's true. Hey, I'll give you this advice, and Crimson is leaning into it a little bit. He says it's absolute crap, over processed garbage food, and I love it. Just eat it. You know, be reasonable about it. That's definitely nothing you want to be eating on a regular basis. You eat it sometimes. Sorry.
Everything in moderation.
That's right.
And now, as you see, the fire is on a medium low, and we are starting to get some nice sears going on the bolognas.
Love it. That's how I like it when it starts sweating like that and start getting warm. Get a little char on it, man. But
But the char is nowhere near where it will be. But now you can see how, and with the hose here, it bubbles up instead of with the no hose, it will become a floppy like half filled water balloon, and it won't be even.
I cut 4 edges on the outside of it too. Shout out to Squeegee who just busted up in here. Don Burr, Black Rain just busted up in this piece. Shout out to everybody, man. Come on in. We're gonna get to some Bears here shortly, man. We're waiting on this next pick, but we still 2 picks away. Dicker, I know what you meant. He said you look just like Dicker, the way he was all set up. Mike Dicker did wear a get up like that, the chef hat and the apron. I think I've seen some media out there of him when he was promoting his restaurant before it opened. I've seen that stuff out there.
Dickus.
Yeah.
I was back in the day when the Chicago Bears had the website, and they had the fan comment page section. I was on there, and a group of the posters got together one Sunday, and we watched the game at Ditka's because he invited us there, and he was there with his wife and a player from another team who he knew, and we had a very good time. And he even signed one of those little footballs with the Mike Ditka's restaurant on it, and I still have it.
How was the steak?
It was very tasty.
Was it?
It was. He was not skimping with the foods.
Okay, so Squeegee said those bologna sandwiches are the ones that Dicka, just like Dicka makes.
Oh, very, very nice.
I'm gonna have to go look for
I was not aware that he was a bologna kind of guy.
Shout out to Frank Quiroz, Squeegee. I think I said Squeegee already. I got
now,
you.
Do we want more char, or is that enough char for one side?
Hey, you the one eating it, man. I like it. I like it just how it is.
Well, I'm doing as a request to the young lady at your side.
Oh, she just went in the other room. She's gonna probably say burn it up some more. She eats everything burn up. Okay, the Rockets picker. No, not the Rockets, but the Trailblazers. This must be a proposed trade with the Memphis Grizzlies.
Tonight we have the NBA draft, and in 2 days we have the NFL draft, and we see what the Blackhawks will do.
Oh, that's coming up too?
In 2 days.
Crimson said, do it Cajun style. Char that shit.
We will, but we will do it very slow and very easy, because if we turn the flame up too high to make it char, it will burn.
Yes, it will. I need mine. I don't know, depending on how I feel, man. This is when I start putting cheese on shit.
Well, that will come later when we put them into the sandwiches.
Looking good, man. I haven't had bologna in a minute. I got to get me some thick slice. Got to have a thick slice. So all the people that's watching right now, don't go buy that weak ass bologna, Oscar Mayer shit, man. Go get you some thick slice, cheap ass bologna. Probably got some off-brand title on it or some brand on it. Get that stuff.
Bar S.
There you go. Bar S.
Tick cut.
That's the best shit out there. The best shit out there.
It comes with the little wraparound red thingies from the outside of the bologna when it's a big piece, and they slice it.
When's last time
into the package?
When last time you seen anybody that sold the bologna rolls?
It depends on where you go, but they do have them at certain places. But it is not something that I purchase enough to make that expenditure for that much of the bologna meat.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
If you could smell it now, if we had the interwebs smell-o-vision, it would be beautiful.
Squeegee's up in here with the chef tips. He said put some fried tomatoes on there and you got a delicacy. That now I have never ever had that thought cross my mind, Squeegee. So thank you for that delicious ass tip. I'm trying it. I got some green tomatoes growing in the garden right now.
There is nothing more beautiful than fried green tomatoes.
Do it in olive oil, though. Do it in olive oil. It's the best thing you can do. But, man.
And now we are rotating our bolognas around as well as turning them over so we get nice, even char on both sides.
Shout out to everybody in the show. I know everybody's half paying attention to what we're talking about, half paying attention to the draft and whatever else. I think Aldo comes on at 9. So we appreciate y'all that's coming in and might pop out and go do some of Aldo's show, come back in, whatever you're doing. We know you all support everybody, so it's not a big deal.
And shout out to the pod fodder.
Shout out to the pod father. I'm going to have to give him a call soon, man. I haven't talked to him in a while. Peppercini, is that it? Peppercini. What is Crimson talking about here?
Peppercorns or pepperoncinis?
He said pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. That's what it says.
Mm.
I think that's a like a another kind of salami. I think I've seen that at the deli. I think I know what it is. Help me out there.
It's probably on the same aisle and the row with the gabagool.
Ooh, I feel sorry for you, Squeegee. I hope you're near the refrigerator watching this and you just got through burning one. Woo! Gosh, you got some sativa diamonds
Mm.
and the munchies. Oh yeah, that's a pickled pepper. Yes, pickled pepper. That's correct.
Oh, speaking of, let me share something with you while these are cooking. The other night, I have not done a video on these, but I made these from the the pickle juice from the hamburger dill chips, and then I boiled some the pickle juice in the pan, and then I boiled some eggs and peeled them, and then chopped up some onions and put them into the juice.
Ooh, so you got some
And
pickled
they
eggs and
are
onions.
delicious. These pickled eggs and onions.
Yes. So you can. What he's saying is, and by the way, Skylark AO8 says any fans of grilled cheese sandwiches with tomato soup as a dip. He's putting his own twist on that as we speak. Skylark is exactly what he's doing right now. He's making a basically a what we call around here a patty melt out of bologna, making a grilled cheese out of it and some tomato soup. Is that
That is
off at
correct.
all? Is that off at
That
all?
is correct.
Okay.
And now we see the beautiful golden bolognas with the little char on the edge and a little there and a little there. Then we turn it over and get a little more over there and a little more over there.
I'm
Now
loving the
these
look.
are about done, but we are now getting together and prepare our breads.
Ooh, that's how I like it, man. Down home, real simple. I ain't know I'm not a restaurant guy to go get. I like my food just like this. Simple. Simple pimple. Had
That
chili
is
dog
that
for
is
lunch.
as long as it tasted good and maybe somewhat of the not unhealthy for you, it will be good.
Chef, you getting a shout out in here from Crimson. He said, I'm telling you, Chef, switch the pickled onions for some chopped pepperoncinis.
Switch to the say that again, please.
He said, switch the chopped onions out for some chopped pepperoncinis. Those are
Mm.
they look like, I think they kind of look like they almost look like a banana pepper, I think. I
Yes,
think
we
that he's
do have what do we have in the here? We have these banana peppers.
now they banana peppers you can put like I like a mixed jar of some of all that stuff. Yes, he says it looks like a banana pepper.
Mm.
If I could share it right now without thinking I might get myself knocked off the screen, I would do it right now.
Okay. So now we will take our bolognas and we will construct the Sammys on the fly. So we want to move fast. We have our mayonnaise already on one of the breads. We have the fire on a medium low. Boom. We put the breads down and the cheese will go on next. And then we will top that with oh,
I,
the bologna. Oh,
I bet
and
Crimson.
then
I know
we
stuff.
will throw a little mustard
Man.
in there.
Okay, I got a question for you, Chef.
Yes.
What kind of mayo guy are you?
This is a olive oil mayo.
I haven't tried that one. I have to try that.
And then we will put a few of the onions. Mm.
Hey, just for the record, you all, if you all have pickles in your refrigerator and you run out of pickles, don't throw the juice away. Repurpose the juice.
Very, very true. But you do not just put the eggs or the onions or tomatoes into the pickle juice. You have to boil the pickle juice first.
Yes.
Now that that salmon is going, we will now prepare our other one by putting a little piece of butter
Trips, one of these
onto
days,
this side.
Chef, one of these days in the near future, this channel is going to start doing a lot better than what it's doing right now. And I'm going to buy you some canning equipment. I'm going to send you a canning kit so that you can can some vegetables, and that'll be a whole thing. It's a whole metaverse out there looking for people that's doing that kind of stuff.
Yes, that is a thing. That is a process. So now we have our other butter down. We will put the bologna there, and then we add some more onions.
Hey, Crimson is bringing it, man. He says use a juice, and I think he's trying to say to brine the chicken before frying it. He says,
Yes,
thank me later.
that
Yes,
is
sir.
another use of the recycled pickle juice.
Yes, I use it. I use it to marinate my rib tips. That's part of, because part of any good marinade in any rib tip is all about the acidic quality that you bring to it, the acid factor, to break it down so it's a little bit more tender even before you put it on the grill.
And one of the main ingredients in the pickle juice is vinegar.
That's right. That's right.
And so now that we have our grilled cheese sammies on the skillet, one with the mayonnaise and this one with the butter. Both have cheese on both sides of the bread and the onions and a little mustard in the middle.
Looking good, good. I didn't know pickle juice would stop heartburn instantly. I know one thing. I found out some stuff on that everything people put on the internet ain't good. And I'm not saying this ain't about you, Crimson. I'm talking about the whole thing with the apple cider vinegar, and it's good to keep your weight down. And I was trying that stuff. Man, that stuff started eating away at my bottom teeth, man.
Well, the apple cider vinegar will help with the weight loss, but the side effects are the gums, the teeth, and the things that the vinegar is not good for. So while it can be healthy, it is not always the best for you in every aspect. So you you want to utilize what you can when you can, but not to excess. And also utilize the pickle juice for cramps. If you have cramps, you sip on some pickle juice, that will relieve them almost immediately.
Or you drink some good pickle juice before you go drinking, and you won't have cramps. Shout out to Squeegee. He's burning. He done burnt a little bit. He's going to hit that fridge right now. He's about to raid it. Munchies, boy. Love it.
That is understandable. Did the Chicago Bulls pick yet?
They are. Did they? I'm not. Let me see. I didn't see it. I think they did. Talking to you, I didn't even see it. The guy I wanted them to get was a dude named Rasheer Fleming. I think he's the best player in the draft. They picked that would have been my guy. They picked Noah Essingue. Singu, I think that's the way you say it. To me, that's Giannis. That's Giannis when Giannis was a kid and he came into the NBA. Loved it. Shout out to Minister Charles Barrett-Matic that just busted up in here.
What is he, center?
No, he's a power forward / 3-man. He's everything that you saw Giannis when he first got into the league. But he's got a way better jump shot. Way better. He's got a pro jump shot. Giannis is still working on his. But everything Giannis has, this kid has the same tools.
So he is the French freak.
6'10", 6'11". He's made like a praying mantis, all arms and legs. man, the dude can release off either foot. He's got a sweet, almost pro ready. We'll see what he looks like when he has to stretch the three out. I don't know what the international three looks like, but I just want to see how he adjusts shot in the NBA. But I think he's going to be yeah. If they didn't get my guy Fleming from St. Joe's, this would have been my guy. I think this is a great.
Very good. But there were no trades. We did not get rid of anybody.
Not that I know of. They're gonna have a big, long ass athletic team, and I think it's gonna be nice.
I hope so.
I hear you, Skylark. He says that pickle juice has a lot of health benefits.
And now our tomato soup, we will bowl it up as it is nice and steamy, and the Sammys are almost done as they've already been turned over.
Oh, the chef is creating him a little job afterwards. Got a little soup down there.
You just wipe it out. Part of doing the cleanup.
Love it. Man, we just had this same meal yesterday with turkey nuggets. Same exact meal. I think this kid I'm excited about this pick with the Bulls, man. I think this kid has got probably the most upside out of all the kids in the draft.
Well, let's hope so, because AK and ME got the contract extensions, as did the coach Billy Donovan. So we hope that they can do more than get bounced out of the play-in tournaments.
Don over here talking noise, talking about don't use pickle juice, use chitlin juice. You know you be drinking that chitlin juice, Don.
Chitlin juice would be boo-boo juice.
Toilet water. Hey, man, I can't wait till you, Chef. I cannot wait till you see this draft pick that the Bulls got. I think you do a little homework on him. That's going to be content worthy, brother.
Well, no. So now to
narrate for a second, Chef. I'm gonna go run and tell my girlfriend. She liked that kid. She was watching film with me. I'll be right back.
Well, you can tell her if she wants to. She can come and see the cutting of these sandwiches.
Let me see it. All right, I'll tell her. Hold on.
And so for all of the maniacs, we have the butter grilled cheese, and then we have the mayonnaise. And the butter I will cut this way. And the mayonnaise we will do diagonal. Is there a particular way that you have to have your sandwiches cut? Square or diagonal? Does it matter to you or not? Speaking of not, do not forget to like and subscribe to the Nomad Network as well as Sports Chicago Style.
All right, Chef. She just came in here. She's over here giving me a thumbs up. She's them dimples showing. She's liking it.
All right, so the sideways cut or the diagonal cut? Which one should I take a bite of?
Diagonal.
Diagonal.
Per her. That's her cut.
Can we see that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, Lord. Oh, good Lord. He likes his onions crunchy. She's all smiling, all dimples right now.
As she should be. And now that is beautiful. And then the tomato soup washes it all down.
She just told me to cut this part of the show out so she can pass it on to our girlfriend.
I do thank you for your support, and let me finish chewing. And These fried bologna and onion grilled cheese sandwiches are delicious.
Man, I'm just listening to you bite into that thing and crunch. That
Mm.
earpiece you got on helps it out, man. Oh man, I can hear them onions, dude.
Mm.
I can hear them onions.
That's
I
why I
just
like the crunch of the onion.
I just ate two big old chili dogs right before the show and tater tots. Now I'm hungry all over again for this shit.
Well, the brutalness of the food will do that to you.
Don over here throwing shots. You throwing shots, Trips. I just want you to know.
What is Pussycat's problem?
I got him. Don't.
Get the hell out of here before I kick your little ass.
Thank you very much. But I would like to once again thank everybody for joining us here on the UMAT Network on the show, an effort in the kitchen with your host and your owner and proprietor, Chef Trips. So be sure to like and subscribe, Sports Chicago Style. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Now, before I go, are there any other questions and or comments?
One comment, man. It's Crimson you dig, Supernova Maniac Crimson you dig with the wrench. He says I can hear that crunch all the way from Seattle. Sounds like them sandwiches got bones.
Mm. Very, very tasty bones, no diddy.
You're gonna have to definitely check this video out, Trip. Afterwards, rewatch the show and watch how good it sounds when you bite into that sandwich and start chewing into it. Man, it's just I ain't got the words for it.
I will do, and also tell your girlfriend and everybody else that the editors over at Sports Chicago Style will take the live clips from a MF in the kitchen and republish them on that channel at Sports Chicago Style. So all of these segments will be clipped for the cooking portions of the show.
For sure. I'm gonna use them over here too, man. I got something else I got going on too, man. We'll talk about that later on. You, Chef Trips, thank you so much, man. It was beautiful to watch somebody else put it together a little bit differently than I do it with the mayo. You're putting it down face down on the skillet. It got me thinking about some stuff. But I enjoy the variety and seeing another way to approach one of the classics in the hood, fried bologna sandwiches, man. So I appreciate you so much, Chef.
Thank you very much, and I hope that you and the No Maniacs try this recipe in your kitchen and put the variations of whatever you like on it. And in the case of Pussycat, you put as much of the chillin' juice on there as you want, and it will be awful, but it's for you, so it will be beautiful.
Thank you, sir.
And so until next time, thank you for joining me here in the kitchen of Shay Trips. And then I will see you next time.
There we go. There's Chef Trips out the building. Man, I actually, I don't know that people know. I'm not putting on when I watch him cook. When I watch Chef cook something, he's gonna get my honest opinion. I know when Kez is here, he's gonna get an honest opinion. Man, I'm not trying to put on for the fact that we're doing a podcast right now. I'm legitimate hungry right now watching that happen. That look real good. I mean, like real good. I'm telling you. Shout out. Thanks for the I'll let him know. That looked real good and it sounded even better. Man. How about some food with your Bears football? We're about to talk about it when Trips comes back into the building. But so, man, listen, before we get in, I don't want to get heavy into the Bears conversation before Trips comes back into the building. But let's talk about let's get to some extra sauce stuff, man. I don't know that you guys heard about that NFL colluding stuff. Have you heard about this stuff? Have you guys heard about that story? Have you heard about that the NFL kind of an arbitrary? Let me read it. Let me just read it. I'll probably have to read this again when Trips comes in here. But let me find the notes. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. And okay, here it is. So an arbitrator found that the NFL encouraged teams to, quote, collude regarding guaranteed contracts. And this story it's been out there for about, it's not out there, but it's been a known thing within the ranks of the NFL, talking about NFLPA, we talking about the owners, everybody. And this has been going on for the last 3 years. The last 3 years. We talking about since like Deshaun Watson got his guaranteed contract that long ago. So what is that? Couple 2 or 3 years since? Yeah. And so you guys, I'm gonna try to hold my horses until Trips gets in here, man. But I'm a real pro player guy podcast if you ever want to meet one. And I say that all the time because it's for me, it's always been about how much can they get and keep for themselves. We know the owners are rich. We know the NFL is extra rich. But how much of the pie can the players get and keep for themselves? NFL players should get guaranteed money. Shout out to Mayhem that just busted up in this piece. They need to be making guaranteed money from top to bottom. I don't care who it is. The sport is too violent for these guys to not know whether or not they're going to get money. And there's ways to kind of, wiggle and weasel your way out of a contract if a guy gets an injury. It's just not fair. It's just not fair. I don't like it. I never will. But the whole idea that the NFL is actually promoting. Shout out to Triple R just busted up in this piece, man. I almost got off into a ring.
Hold on. 1, 2.
There you go. I can hear you.
All right, cool. Working?
Yes, sir.
Right on. Man, yeah, hey, nice to join in, y'all. Shout out to Chef Trips for doing his thing. I was watching. I'm hungry too, Nomad. You ain't never lied.
Man.
He be hooking it up.
You ain't lying.
Big up to all the No Maniacs and everybody out there tuning in. Nice to have you all see me.
Chef, you might have to remove your old camera out because I can hear echo on your side.
I got nothing on it here.
Oh, I think you're good now. I don't hear it no more. You good?
Okay.
Yeah, but I almost went on a tangent.
Well, yeah, but I mean, how much did what's his name, Watson get? Like 230 million or something?
Somewhere in that neighborhood, 230, 220, somewhere.
But now, if you're I get it, and I agree that the players should get, what they're due. But if the NLPA is in the collusion, isn't that the players' union?
That's the problem. So JC Trotter is the NFLPA representative. He represents the whole body of NFL players. He represents them in front of the NFL, just in case for all those who don't know how that kind of works. Yeah, it's 230 guaranteed. Yes, sir. But he held that information back for 3 years from the players. With all this guaranteed money stuff coming up, I've been trying to avoid saying this, Triple R. But if this keeps going on and the players keep finding, like right now, if I'm somewhere in the neighborhood, if I got juice around the NFL players, if NFL players listen to me, I'm in those conversations with JC Trotter. I'm making a move on JC Trotter right now. Like, dude, you can't hold that kind of information back for 3 years. You can't do that. You can't.
Yeah,
I don't want you representing us if that's how you feel. If they paid you, they greased your pockets well enough that you kept all that quiet for 3 years and you didn't let the players know, what the fuck good are you in the office in the first place?
So is that the same dude that's allowing the NFL to keep expanding the regular season games and more international travel during the season? And, more games during the week, Sunday, Monday, Thursday, Friday. and the players, have to play, have to travel, have to do all that. Why isn't their ante going up? What does the NLPA do if not look out for the players? Why does it seem as though in every aspect they seem to be colluding with the owners?
It's like a hand-picked guy that the NFL chose because they have so much power, and I'm talking about the owners. Trust me, believe me, if they didn't want JC Trotter to be the NFLPA, he wouldn't be there.
Well, isn't it the players' choice? Don't they vote on that?
Trust me when I tell you it ain't gonna work like that. If they don't want a certain person there, he wouldn't be there.
Well, that's not cool.
That's not cool at all. And under collective bargaining, they agreed to certain amounts of things. And I don't know how much say so the actual players had for extending the game, all that kind of stuff that you just got through mentioning. I don't know how much say so the players had on that. I know it's a lot of people just like, hey, I just want to watch the games. I want to see guys go out there and play hard. That's all I care about. All this stuff about guys getting guaranteed money. It's just me, my history, my skin in the game, and I've always dreamed of, if I got in that position, I'm gonna play my ass off, number one. And you don't have to prompt me to give you everything I got. That's just in my nature. But to be able to bankroll my situation, because you are, as an individual, your only commodity. You individually are a business. Each and every one of those every single one of those players are individual businesses. If you can't take if you can't shake every dollar from the tree and take it home for yourself, then you're doing yourself a disservice. If the NFLPA can't shake every dollar from the tree and bring it home to you, get you the lion's share of what you're supposed to get, he's not in service of you. And I just had to say that, man. He's not with them, man. He might talk like he is, but he ain't with them.
Yeah, that's a very bad situation when your leadership isn't your leadership. It's a hand-picked puppet. But now, from the other perspective of it, the the Browns? Yeah, they guaranteed $230 million to a quarterback. How much does anybody know offhand how much more that was in the previous guaranteed quarterback contract?
I wish Kids was here for that one, man, because he's definitely the type of person that would kind of remember that kind of stuff. I wouldn't know. I couldn't tell you.
Well, the point being, if it was like a massive, increase, if I'm an owner, I'm looking at Cleveland like, yo, the fuck you doing? Why are you guaranteeing $230 million when the going rate is 150, 180, or whatever it is? Cousins, 84 million, Crimson Sand. So to go from 84 million to 230, if I'm an owner, I'm looking at other owners and we looking at Cleveland like, what y'all doing? Because now you messing up everybody else's schedule. Now nobody was saying that 84 million was not enough. He signed for that, but they wanted to, go balls to the wall with the dude that went balls to the wall to the masseuse parlors, so they kind of rocked the boat. And it seems as though, like, since then, the rest of the league has been in collusion on how to unrock it and stop, paying out that guaranteed money like that. So it's like they put themselves in that position that started this whole domino effect. And now here we are with players in the second round of the draft talking about where my guaranteed scratch at.
You know what? Like, I don't know if Cleveland has undergone a leadership change or ownership change in the past 5 to 7 years. I don't know. It's Cleveland. Don't nobody know what the hell's going on in Cleveland. Nobody cares. Number one. Number two is, when you have a team put together the way I know the Cleveland Browns were, that was a good team. And I think they might have a slight outside chance to put something together and make a run for something this year. And that might sound strange, but I think they're put together well enough, especially defensively, to make some moves. Now, when an owner has that itch to him and he feels like, right about now, all we need is the quarterback, and it's gonna get us over the hump. That's probably something, Trips, that might prompt a owner to go rogue from the other 31 teams. What do you think?
Yeah, maybe, but yeah, I don't know. But like Minister Charles is saying, Mahomes got 210 guaranteed, but before that, Cousins was the highest guaranteed at 84 million. But Mahomes got that deal after he won Super Bowl, didn't he?
Mm,
Deshaun Watson ain't won shit. So I mean, to guarantee that amount of money for what is the question?
they felt like they were getting a championship level quarterback. I
And
still think he is.
he played like what, two games,
I think he still is. I think he just got into a bad situation, a situation that didn't fit him too well. Nobody can tell me all of a sudden Deshaun Watson got to Cleveland and forgot he was a dog football player. No, I think the situation just didn't gel right with him. I think this just was a bad marriage from the beginning to now. You know what I mean? That's really all it is.
Well, that and then his his off the field stuff and then his injuries, and it's just not, it hasn't been a good look, as kids would say, since the signing of that contract or that trade at all.
Yeah.
So I mean, there was nothing good to come of that deal except the fact that that ownership group raised the level of guaranteed money. That's the only thing that came out of it, and that's good for the players.
Yeah. That's the best thing that could have came out of it. And that leads us into this Bears conversation about guaranteed money. This is I think we're in some pretty soon, and I hate to say this, man, and I'm knocking on wood before I say it, but somebody's going to say this sooner or later. But stuff like this usually gets leagues, I'm talking about any professional sports league, into the S word territory, strike territory. When you start having stories like this, situations like this bubble up, normal, regular routine stuff that usually happens by now. And there's a lot of people that think the second round picks are going to be all signed up before, training camp starts. I don't think it's going to magically happen like that. I really don't. I think this time around, I think it's always going to be a precedent being set when it comes to money. Always. And, it might be some guys that feel like they need to not play in this season because they're not getting the right numbers aren't coming across their tables. And so I would understand that. So into the conversation with talking about Luther Burden, I'm not going to sit out here openly and say, hey, man, just sit out and don't do nothing, man. I'm not going to say that. But I will say this. I will understand if he did.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not like, speaking specifically of Burton, who wasn't, on the field because of a soft tissue injury or whatever, or contract situation, I can't be mad at him because it's like, hey, you got to look out for yourself, and you got to, if second round picks are getting guaranteed money and you're a second round pick, it's like, hey, I want guaranteed money. I mean, that's only fair. And that goes for all the second round picks. And I don't think it's a big issue right now. It's not a Bears thing, it's an NFL thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because second round picks all across the league are like guaranteed money, and the NFL is like trying to find a way not to. Eventually, there will be compromises and everybody will get signed and everything will work its way out. But now that we're in the second round, they're wanting guaranteed money. How long before it's a third round, then the fourth round? And now you get seventh round picks with guaranteed money. Now, there's enough money in the NFL to go around to do that. But will that happen? Probably not. Because the top shelf players, like your guaranteed $234 million guys, they're taking that $234 million guarantee. I didn't hear him say, well, go ahead and give me 175 and spend the rest on the rest of the team. Know what I mean? Look out for the teammates. Nah, he was like, nah, pay me. And, you can't really fault guys for doing that, but then you can if you want them to be team players. So I don't know. I mean, it's a money thing, and it's like everybody wants as much as they can get, and you can't argue and be mad at them for that. But then you want them to produce on the field. So, as a fan, you get this perspective. As a player, you get that perspective. As owners, you get this perspective. So you get three different perspectives all there, and it's all about money.
I remember Triple R just to show that things happen in a strange way and they happen fast. Change happens fast, man. And when I tell you it happens fast, sometimes it's instant. Like I remember sitting in a college dorm room talking to one of my homies. When you go out to a Foot Locker or a Finish Line or somewhere like that back in them days, and you're talking about in a certain general location where you playing college football at, where they done pretty much bankrolled the college situation and they selling your jersey and your likeness, all that kind of stuff. And people making money and you sitting up in there in the fucking in a dorm room with your stomach touching your back 10, 11 o'clock at night because the cafeteria closed at 5 or 6. Like I was telling them cats a long time ago, man. I was like, man, dudes, college players gonna get paid one day. It was like, motherfucker, you can get paid now. I'm like, man, look, I knew I could do it that way if I wanted to, but no, I'm just talking about change just happened just that fast. Like college players there will be colleges that will be given a budget that they can actually pay college players to play football at their universities now. Now we're talking about guaranteed money in the NFL. Doesn't seem like it's ever going to happen, but everything I'm seeing right now points towards exactly that everybody will get guaranteed money 1 through 7. However long that contract is going to be probably a whole bunch of 1-year deals. We'll guarantee you this $2 million. You're going to, if you make the team, we'll guarantee you $3 million. If you play the whole season, we'll put another $250 million. Stuff like that's going to happen. And so I'm talking about the 1 through 7 guys. Further up the echelon, your 1s and your 2s, they'll get a lot more money. But talking about the lower end guys that really need that, like they got to have it. They really got to have it. But I think it's definitely pointing towards everybody getting guaranteed money soon. I think so. Next time, if there's ever another strike, I think that's probably something that needs to come out of it.
Yeah, there are a couple things that need to come out. If you're going to see, there are two different things. There should be guaranteed money right now. Now, in addition to the extra games in the regular season, in addition to the traveling, that should be more guaranteed money. I mean, that'd be only fair, right?
Yeah. Only fair. So, talking about Luther Burden in particular, he's going to miss some valuable. He's already missed some valuable time, man. A lot of valuable time. Those OTAs, I can imagine that's going to definitely, if you're there for all of that, I'm talking about the rookie OTAs, the mandatory OTAs, the whole 9 yards. Those are going to definitely get you in a place where you light speed ahead of where you probably normally would be. You know what I mean? Him missing all of that physically, it's going to be, he can physically, as talented as he is, make up for a lot of stuff, but it's different when you're out there lined up and the guy next to you, that guy next to you, if he's not sure that you're going to be able to handle your assignment or what you're doing, then, it's about reliability. How much do your teammates trust you? Not only just the coaches, you got to know your stuff.
Yeah. Remember back in the day when they say training camp, the players would come to training camp to get in shape.
Yeah.
Now players don't get out of shape, all year long because their body is their craft. And you got to work on your craft to improve it because guess what? Everybody else is too. And how many players would jump at the chance to take your spot if you're on a team? So, you got to, just because you're on a team, don't get comfortable. Just because maybe you got some guaranteed money, don't just lay back and think that it's all gravy, because somebody is coming to take yours and they will do it cheaper and maybe even better.
You get that. So when you start talking about stuff like that, there can also be a world where you get that first guaranteed contract and you dogged it. Everybody in the league is going to know you did it. You dogged it. They gave you guaranteed money. You dogged it. How fast is the next team going to be willing to do that for you? So the turnaround for a lot of these players might get a whole lot faster if you ain't got no work ethic. We'll get somebody else. If you dog that 1 year deal out, man, you got $2 or $3 million guaranteed. You feel like you ain't have to do nothing else. You feel like you hit the lottery. So get your ass out of here. Good luck trying to find another team after what you put on film.
Yeah, it's like you think you're getting a upgrade in pay. Nah, you're not even gonna get what you was making.
Man, so speaking of training, man, something else. That's something else I've been wanting to talk about with the Bears, and we don't talk about this enough on here. Damn, man, hold on a second. What is this shit here? My computer is totally screwing me around right now, Trips. What is this doing on my podcast? Hold on, man. If I press the wrong button, man, we might be out of business and I can't see you. Okay. I'm gonna have to just talk through this. I don't know what's going on here. So training, what I would love to see, and my reference to even have this conversation come up, I always use myself as an example, man. It wasn't until I think my junior year. I remember we worked our butts off, man. Our training camp in high school was hellish. I mean, really hellish, Trips. I mean, like, it was rough. And I remember we got to the tail end of it and we got ready to get ready for the first game. And I think we was about a week away from the first game. And I noticed that, naturally your coach, if he just got through putting you through all kinds of physical torture, putting you through all that physical punishment, he's going to try to lighten the load a little bit at some point. And when he did, I don't know what it was I was doing at that time. We probably partied a little too much, had a little too much to eat. I don't know what it was, but I've heard this said a lot of times. Like, it takes 2 weeks to get yourself in shape, 2 days to get yourself out of shape. Dude, I was hurting so bad after that first game because I kind of, got off the gas a little bit with my training that last week. And we got into that first game. That first half, I was sucking wind so hard, I was struggling. Yeah. Like, that team, if it would have known how bad a shape I was in during that game, they'd have took advantage of me all day, all night. So I told my coach, our defensive coordinator, exactly how I felt. He's like, dog, you've been dogging it. He said, what you do from now on, instead of getting a ride to the house, run your ass all the way home. It's like, man,
yeah, every little bit helps.
But he wasn't lying. After one of them dog ass practices like that, me and my homie, two of my homies, we ran all the way to the crib, and we did that on a regular basis. Like, after a hard ass practice, get some extra running.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I mean that you see, you don't. Well, not you, but people don't give coaches enough credit because they know what's up. They know when you dogging it. They know when you're not in shape. I remember being in practice, one morning after a Friday night out, and it's like, the coaches walking around like, why does everybody smell like malt liquor? It's like, because that was coming out of our pores. Because, we was all toe down the night before off, Colt 45 or OD or Crazy Horse or some shit. And the coaches could smell it. Mm-hmm. And so they knew, it was like, all right, you all aren't going to be performing at tip-top condition, so let's sweat it out of you. And now there's more running to get more sweat to get, the alcohol and all that poisons out your system. So don't sleep on the coaches. Coaching matters.
Big time, dude. It's like that's my hope for this team is to think of the team in that way. I think training and all that comes into it, the training staff that you have, the strength and conditioning coaches, make all the difference in the world. I think I heard Olin talk about that a time or two, but he was not kidding when he said you got to have the right people in the building to make sure these guys. So basically, you're trying to prime these guys up to get stronger as the game goes on and not weaker. So as that other team is kind of tailing off, you getting your guys, they just starting to kind of ramp up a little bit. And so I hope, all this, it's always about attrition, but some of it is about straight up how much durability, not durability, but what's the word I'm looking for?
Stamina.
Thank you. Stamina. Perfect. Stamina. How much stamina do you have when the game gets tight and close, when you got 3-point games, 7-point games, 6-point games? How much stamina do you have to kind of put your foot on the gas and take this thing over the top? I'm curious to know how they're going to train these guys.
Well, I'm sure it's going to be like, most other coaches, you're in practice. It's the fourth quarter. Suck it up.
That's good in words.
You know what I mean? You start yelling. It's like, oh, yeah, okay, no time to get tired now. Fourth quarter, let's go. Play to the, 60 minutes, full game, be in condition, and just hope you don't have to go to overtime.
Yeah, pretty much, man. That's the last I'll say about that. But I hope they put a lot of attention to making sure these guys are trained the right way, coming in there, and the ones that don't have, what they need, get them off the field and get them back in the training room until they got what they need. Get them on a bike, get them in the pool, do whatever you need to do to build up that stamina, build up that win, because that win is going to make or break you during the game, guaranteed.
Yeah, definitely.
Can they power through? Exactly, Crimson. That's it. Either you gotta, you're out there like a dog. You're out there like a dog if you don't. And the teams that don't have it, I can see it clearly. Probably somewhere in the middle, towards the end of the third quarter, I can see it live during the game. Any game I'm watching, any football game I'm watching, I can tell you who's going to win that game by that point. I don't care what the scoreboard says.
Yeah, well, back in I guess, well, not recently, but a few years back when you had to earn water breaks on the practice field, in 2-a-days in August. And it's like, you want water? Well, you're going to get this drill right. And it's like, oh, fuck. And it's like, heat stroke? Ain't no heat stroke. You do it, then you get water. But theoretically, that helped condition and toughen you up mentally and physically for when you were sucking wind during a game and you were tired. And it's like, remember in practice when you was tired and you made you power through before you get some water? Well, before you get to the sideline and get some nice Gatorade, you're going to power through this play and make a play. And that's just kind of the mentality that coaches have to put in there, that mental toughness, that mental fortitude that goes beyond the physical and the physical pain. So the mental aspects of the game are not just knowing the plays, knowing where to be, knowing where your teammates are going to be, but having the ability to convince yourself in your mind that your body is not going through the pain that it is, that the pain that it is going through is worth it to get this victory. So the mental fortitude as well as the testicular fortitude are all a part of what coaches have to put into these players. And nowadays, a lot of these players are just fucking soft. And I don't know. I don't know why, but damn.
They listen, man. It's like you'll, and I learned this when I was in college. You'll spend a couple of hours in a day, I mean hardcore hours, training, putting in the work, the effort. I mean, from the weights to out on the field, doing the cardio stuff, trying to make sure you're right. Your body is perfectly tuned for this war you're about to get into when you have to. And you got the stamina to do it. You'll fuck it up. The minute you leave that field, I want to go home. I want it. I got a box of honey buns in the cabinet. Oh, I'm gonna go ahead. This little one honey bun ain't gonna hurt me. And that turned into 3 honey buns.
Right. Honey buns. That was your thing. Honey buns. Was you a white icing guy or no icing?
I wasn't too big on honey buns. I was never too big on sweets. I didn't get into that stuff until like after my football was over. Like when I started working, honey bun and a cappuccino every day.
Hey, that'll put on some weight.
Yeah. I was just lucky. I just had a high metabolism. I'd have been a fat son gone, man. But Yeah, you'll do all that work and then defeat the whole purpose of it as soon as you leave the field. So I can't go home with you and hold your hand and keep you out of the refrigerator. Your mom ain't here, your daddy ain't here, your coach ain't here. He ain't gonna know that I just ate 8 pieces of fried chicken from Popeyes because I could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you see Newport 100s. That monkey was on my back for a little bit. I had to get it off.
Yeah.
When I realized I can't breathe. Why can't I breathe? Oh, maybe these squares are doing it. Cut the squares out. It's like, oh shit, I can breathe. I can move. So it's like whatever vice you have that's not good for your body will affect your athletic abilities. You look at these kids nowadays and they were like, you're going to go out and have a beer? It's like, I don't drink. It's like, oh, you're going to go to some sweets? I don't eat that stuff. A lot of these kids nowadays are brought up as like just specimens. They don't eat fat, sugars, alcohols, none of that. They're all about, the proteins and the aminos and the gym.
Yeah.
And that's, I guess, that's what if you want to get some of this NIL money, you better be on that tip if you're a youngster. Or if you got a youngster and it's like, well, you want to play ball or not, boy, girl, whatever. And it's like, hey, they gonna need some motivation because these seniors in high schools now are looking to cash in millions on whatever college they go to.
Hey, you know what? I gotta tell you guys, No Maniacs and Trip. I gotta tell you this story, man, because I was so proud of these boys. Last week I was at my mom's house, man. I've been doing a lot of work for them. My mom's getting older. My grandmother's elderly woman, and they live there alone. My uncle he come through there once in a while, making sure stuff's together. So I had to go spring cleaning. It's summertime now, but I had to go through the garage, man. And it was kind of jacked up, man. My mother and my grandmother like to keep shit. You know how old ladies are. They like to hold on to shit, And anyway, going through there, I ended up, and she paid my nephew. My mother paid my nephew and his homeboy Zion to come over there, and they both football players. And they didn't want to be there, so I had to coach them the whole goddamn time they were there, man. Good, so this is good work for y'all, little young ass. Anyway, I think my mother came through with some Popeyes, and tried to come through and make sure everybody's fed and all that. And I was like, y'all, eat no chicken? And it's like, man, we can't eat that. What? Like, what you talking about? You mean you can't eat it, man? You motherfuckers don't turn down no food.
All that flour, all that grease.
Talking about you little motherfuckers don't turn down no food. What you talking about? They were disciplined like a Shaolin monk, bro.
Mm-hmm.
They wasn't eating it. They wasn't eating. I was proud of them, man, because I wasn't that disciplined.
Yeah. It's like that. That's a very good thing, but unfortunately, the mentality isn't always as progressed. I think, a lot of these athletes, kids, they're in that bubble, that cocoon, to where you're going in the summer or the off season. You got the camps and the enrichment programs, and then during the season, you're in the mix of things. They're just always immersed, and so it seems as though like a lot of kids nowadays don't have the opportunity to be kids because they are being driven to get this money, out of high school as an athlete.
Wouldn't you be?
I mean, it depends. How much of the motivation is from internal, as far as the athletes, the kids themselves, as opposed to the parents forcing it on them? Because if the parents are forcing on them, making them do this practices, making them do the camps, driving them to the games and stuff, their heart isn't going to be into it, no matter how talented they are. And you're going to get that, well, I got to the league, but I really don't like it, so I'm going to quit kind of shit.
Yeah.
But those kids that have that inner desire and drive to like, nah, ma, don't worry about it. I'm gonna take the bus to practice, or I'll get a ride, or they are taking the initiative to do it all themselves because they have that goal to be a great player in whatever sport it is. So there's that mentality too. But it seems as though the softer side is getting more of the nurturing, just the participation trophy motherfuckers that want a gold medal. It's like, nah, you get a participation trophy. You don't get a gold medal because you're not good enough. It's like, well, you can't tell kids they're not good enough. Why not? Well, because that hurts their ambition. Well, nah, you tell them they're not good enough because guess what? They're not good enough. And if that hurts them that bad, they'll find the internal motivation to be better. And if not, find another hobby. No harm, no foul.
You know what, man? I remember my sister. I remember going to my nephew when we were playing Pee Wee football. And they was always like, hey, come check him out, come check him out. And they wanted me to come, give him some inspiration. He was one of them little kids that really, he's just like out there. He wasn't really into it. Like I had another nephew about a year or two older than him that he was with the business. He was with it. And he's still like that. Matter of fact, he's gonna be at Michigan or some damn where in the next probably this fall somewhere. But he with the business, man. And you didn't have to, he just naturally has it. Now my nephew, this one, it came to him late. And so I asked him one day, man, when I went out there to go see him, he running around a little toddler with some shoulder pads and helmet on. I pulled him to the side. I went on the sideline, you want to play? And he's just looking at me with the doe eyes. He's starting to water up in the eyes. Don't you start all that crying now. Don't you start that shit now. You want to play or not? Because if you don't want to play, I'll pull you off the field right now. I'm all right. I'm gonna play. And after that day, I had a couple talks with his mama, and his mama was just like, he needs to do something. I was like, I don't want you. You don't have to push him to do something that he doesn't want to do. Let me talk to him. And she was mad because she wanted me to stay out of it. And I was just let me talk to him. And I went and pulled him to the side. Do you want to play ball? He said, yeah, I like it. I said, well, you got to act like it then. You got to be with it. And I had a nice little conversation when he was just a little boy. But when I got through talking to him, man, he was with that business, man. And since then, I had to say nothing else to him about it. If he asked me something, I'll tell him. I don't push nothing on him. I don't be over there trying to mold him into who I am or who I was. None of that stuff. I just want to make sure if you're out there for your own reasons, not your mama's or nobody else's. So I definitely had that conversation.
Because how many parents have you seen living vicariously through their kids?
A lot of them. A lot of them. Too many.
And the kid, is just kind of like, I don't even want to play this sport. And the parents like, you get your ass out.
Do it. My daddy said I got to do it.
Mm-hmm. My mama said I got to do it. It's like, well, why? It's like, well, you see how much money those NIL deals are? He gonna get me some of that. Wait, he gonna get you some of that? Oh, you selfish bitch. So there's a lot of parents that are pimping their kids, for this NIL money. And like, who was it? Keith the Bishop said, yeah, I think a lot of these kids are driven to make the league. Once there, the motivation drops. It ain't even a league no more with this NIL college money. If these college kids are getting, 2, 3, 4, 10 million, bucks a year, I ain't never leaving college. It's like, can I get that 8th year of eligibility, please?
Yeah.
Get all these co-eds, all this money. Why? Go to pro for what? For more co-eds and money? I already got that.
Hey, Trips, it's a different world. And where you coming from? Hey, college. I feel sorry for people who didn't get that opportunity to get that experience, man. I feel sorry for you. It almost feel like that person didn't live the life they were supposed to live.
Shit, 18 is legal like a some bitch. Oh, welcome to college. Oh, look at you. First time away from home. Here, come on, let's go to this party.
It's the ladies, and it's also the irreplaceable bonds that you make.
Yeah.
I mean,
just stand up till 2 a.m. busting some spades.
all that fighting and carrying on and loving each other later, man. You know what I mean? It's just all that shit went on, man. And like to this day, like them cats, we all inseparable, man. We all inseparable, man. We know each other like we know the back of our hands.
And y'all all can name the girls that you would go to because you knew they had snacks in their room.
Oh, no, it's like we ain't even talk about the dorm life, but yeah, that's a whole different man. You talking about giving this extra sauce right there.
Good times, baby. Good times.
That dorm life was a boy. I only did that for a semester. I should have stayed there for a year, but I couldn't wait to get out and get my own space, man, because the my RA on my floor, he started feeling like I was like the Don Dada and nobody listened to him. Everybody would come to me for everything because it's my floor. Shit, everybody come to be at my room. Shit, it's like, man, go back to your room, man, and close your door. I'll tell you when to come out. Right. I'll tell you when to come out. You just a RA and title. I run this motherfucker floor.
And you don't be coming in my room without me knowing about it either.
Yeah, that was a whole life. But man, my nephew getting ready to experience that. But back to these players and training and all that kind of stuff, man. You know, if I was coming up in this era right here in this particular generation, you couldn't tell me nothing, dude. You couldn't stop me from training. I'm gonna get that money. And nobody needs to motivate me. I'm gonna be at it, dude, until I get that money. You talking about going, all I gotta do is enroll in college and accept a scholarship and I get paid? Flop around with co-eds and oh man, dog, what you talking about?
Right? You know, kick back on the weekends, holidays off. Come on.
Man, dog, y'all.
I mean, that's some living right there.
I can't even tell you. I remember I went to down to Jackson State and Lindsey Hunter had long gone, left that place. I went down to Jackson State to kick it with a female. And I heard stories about when he was down there. Lindsey Hunter is an ex-NBA basketball player, for those who don't know. And they was telling me this cat would roll up at the stadium for a game, home game. He had a couple different Corvettes, a black one and a blue. He said he picked it. And I think he said he had a white one too. I was like, at Jackson State? At Jackson, there's like, they had pictures of the shit. Just roll up. Like Lindsey Hunter comes from a poor ass place somewhere in the South. Ain't nobody got no money. And all of a sudden he's running around here with players ain't supposed to be getting played. He's rolling around here with 3 different Corvettes. You know, that was going on. That was going on in a real way. But
yeah, I mean there was a whole slew of schools getting the death penalty and all kinds of shit for paying players.
Oh yeah.
It's like, how these players walking around with all this bling and driving the Corvettes? They in college, they ain't got no jobs.
Oh yeah.
The what do they call it? The payola.
Man.
You know what I mean? What was that movie? Blue Chips.
Oh yeah.
With Shaq and Penny in them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, we gonna need a house, a tractor, and a bag of money. And the booster was like, all right, cool. Because you know how much Jackson State probably made off of him? Playing ball?
I'm pretty sure they made a nice penny, and they gave him exactly what he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that. I saw some of that money, man. That's why I'm not playing the NFL. Part of the reason. You know what I mean? I saw some of that money. The envelopes came. Somebody walk up to you. Hey, I don't know your ass, old white man. I don't know nothing about you.
Say that after game handshake.
But thank you. Thank you. But yeah, now they ain't gotta hide it no more. And I'm over the moon happy for these kids. And I ain't gonna be like one of these cats that been there and it didn't work out and be hating on. Hell no. I'm happy as hell.
Right. But the golden dream as a player to get a player would be a player who sure makes millions or got the NIL deals, but does not care about that. They are playing to play the game. They are playing to win. They are playing to be great. And guess what? They're giving me money to do it. Cool. Let me throw that in the bank. Give it to my parents, whatever the fuck. Because I got to go to practice. I want to learn and look at some more film and some more of this team or this player. And I want to be great personally. And I got all these millions now. Cool. I'll spend that later. But now let me get back to football. That's what, as a fan, we would want in a player that's not motivated by the money, but just motivated by the ball, and the money just happens to come.
Mm-hmm. If I could rewind, hit that rewind button. I've done a lot of things different. If I had done some things different, me and you probably not having this conversation because I'm probably a retired NFL player, and things I just would have known what to do at that given moment. I just didn't know what to do. And things got out of hand and was never repairable, man, and just never got back right. But no woe is me right now, man. We're going to talk about some Chicago Bears. I could talk about this all night, man, because we can go into some stories. Maybe we'll reapproach this stuff later on in the show. But people want to talk about the Chicago Bears. Now, I heard somewhere, Triple R, that Caleb Williams ranked by Fox News as the 21st rated quarterback in the NFL and 5th amongst his draft class. How do you feel about that?
Wait, 20. Wait, what?
21st in the NFL. 21st in the NFL and 5th amongst his draft class of quarterbacks.
Wait, 5th for quarterbacks. Wasn't he the first one taken?
He's ranked 5th amongst them.
Wait, so is that Jaden Daniels, May? That's 3. Who are the other 2?
I don't know. I just saw the stat.
Yeah, I don't understand the stats or the rankings or the polls or, this site gave him this grade and this site gave him that grade. And I don't know what any of that shit means. I mean, I don't even know. I don't even know enough to have an opinion. It's like, I think he ranks number 5 out of this many. Based on what? I mean, you're just pulling shit out of your ass, and it's like, I think. But it's like, guess what? I think too, but no one cares. So, I mean, are we in the time of the offseason where it's like, we need some clickbait? Let's come up with some rankings, and let's see if we can piss off some fans because we ranked their player too low or too high or whatever the fuck. That seems like that kind of vibe.
It's probably some of all of that shit you're talking about. I don't know. Like, I get to thinking about that, and I think we're stuck just because of circumstances. And this is what the kind of stats that's going to come out when you had a team that went 5-12, and you had a rookie quarterback who had an up and down season. Whatever people think about Caleb Williams, 21st in amongst all quarterbacks. First of all, that's hard to square. That's really hard to square. 21st, number 1, but then to rank him 5th amongst his rookie class.
And it's like, who's better? So the Matt Daniels, May Nix, and
it's somebody.
Who's another rookie quarterback?
It's somebody who nerds made that. Some nerds made that. And all you seen was a headline that came out of Fox. Only reason people pay attention to it because it came out of Fox. And so that's just the gullibility of people in our fan base, man, and people in everybody's fan base. All they want to know, okay, who said this? Where did it come from? And immediately they give it credibility because it came from a major network. Instead of someone on one of these small channels like ours that actually give you real shit, qualified conversation, qualified breakdowns of how this stuff should be looked at. You'll totally ignore us, totally not subscribe to us, and go give your subscriptions to Fox or whoever else. Give them your money. And the real ones is breaking it down somewhere and ain't getting really no credit for them. And the fans have to hold themselves accountable for giving them all that credibility. You the one giving the credibility. I'm giving them credibility by repeating it, right? So
yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna call out any names, but there are, podcasts that, every episode is, more of a pitch for, joining their membership as opposed to actual content. And it's like, all right, I get it. Yeah, we all got bills to pay. You want to, make a little something off your hustle, but you ain't even hustling. You know what I mean? You just asking for loot, and it's like, oh yeah, the Bears did something. I don't know. But anyway, about these super chats. And it's like, why are y'all begging for super chats every 2 seconds? It's like, yeah, turn that off. And so there are so many content creators, podcasters that are on that bullshit, like a lot of the players. And it's like, it's all about the Benjamins. They don't give a shit about actual content or being creative or even sharing valid information. It's all clickbait. Look at me, give me money, look at me. Oh yes, blah 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 sports. Look at me. And there's just so much of that, and it's just sad when so many people are supporting that. And it's like, well, what are you supporting? And they can't answer it. It's like, well, I don't know. I guess it's cool. Well, yeah, you dumbass. And so that's why, we appreciate the No Maniacs and everybody who supports actual content creation. That goes on here at the Nomad Network. That goes on at Sports Chicago Style. That goes on at Keds the Canuck. And all of the podcasters that, are actually podcasting and sharing relevant information. So in this day and age of this ecosystem of, well, what's bullshit, what's not bullshit, a lot of you know what's bullshit. Stop supporting it. Maybe that bullshit will go away and more good shit like us will pop up.
Hey, I'm with you, Crimson. He says, but there's plenty that aren't that way. There's enough room for all of us. Yes, there is. Mm-hmm. I'm saying this because it's like when I'm gonna give you a real good answer for this. When I started thinking about football, the way I came into this Bears content creation, I came to it from a pure football perspective. It came to me from know-how, experience, and just willing to talk about it and having a good voice to that where, whenever I'm talking about the Bears, whether I'm on this thing doing it live, whether I'm out and about amongst people, I always draw a crowd because people want to talk about when I start talking about the Bears. And I took that and I ran with it. And I was just like, there's going to be people out here that want to have these conversations just like me. And you all showed up for it. And what I'm saying to you all is, the detail that we give on these podcasts, the thought that goes into some of this breaking this stuff down doesn't come out of somebody's behind. It's thought out, it's studied, it's gone through over and over again. I'm talking about how we do stuff over here. And, I can't tell anybody to press the subscribe button. I can't tell anybody to send me a super chat. I can't tell anybody to send a cash app and help me get another laptop. No, I can't. All I can do is hope. And this podcast is all about that. And so who we reward for the content that they create, I think conscientiously, we all should be mindful of that.
As Crimson said, his comment, if you really want to change the world, change how you spend your money.
Yep.
So support what is worthy of the support, and like the corporate conglomerates that are coming in trying to, take up the space, don't support that because you already know what it is. It's just a money grab in this sports niche. And too many people are just falling for the okie doke time after time after time.
Yes, some people want to be entertained. Either you want to be entertained or you want to have football broken down and having great conversations about how you come to that conclusion, no man. How do you come to that conclusion, Triple R? How do you come to that conclusion, kids? Where did that come from? What are you thinking here? Why do you think Daniel Hardy is going to flex well as a linebacker? Why do you think Xavier Carlton might fit well amongst these big old edge rushers that we have on the team? He fits perfectly. Why do you? The breakdowns are priceless. They're all out here in shorts, So my ass, if I had to throw this out to the whole universe of the Bears, to every Bears fan, I would say to the Bears fan, reward the people that do the work.
Indeed.
That's it. And you can tell in the detail of their conversations who does the work and who's not. All you got to do is check the resume. Who's been accurate and who hasn't been. That's it.
And a very sad, funny thing that I've seen are corporate podcasts, let's call them, using independent creators' work. Whether it be a graph or a chart or something. So these, corporate mofos are dipping into the small time creators and it's like, hey, we like that. Stolen. No credit. You know what I mean? No shout out, no nothing. Just presented as their own materials. And these are, the corporate sports overlords doing this bullshit. That are getting all these views from people going, oh, that's an interesting chart. It's like, yeah, stolen from this creator over here who gets no credit. That happens a lot more than people realize.
Yeah. I'll tell you something else that happens. I noticed that when I spoke on J.P. Richardson's film, and I told people, and I said this for weeks before anybody else said it, J.P. Richardson is going to be a guy that's going to and those antennas are going to come up when he gets on the field, especially when he gets in camp. But whenever he got on the field, in OTAs, whenever, he was going to turn some heads. All of a sudden, it's a lot of people that do content that watch our content and don't want to. They ain't going to admit it. They ain't going to admit it, but they listening to the stuff that we say, and they'll make some content out of it. And so. Just putting it out there,
because it's weird when we do a show, either Nomad at Night on a Sunday or Exercise on a Wednesday or whatever, and then next week or next few days, I hear basically what we were talking about.
Yes,
almost verbatim.
Yeah,
and it's like, wait, how did you all come to these conclusions? I think it was a little ear hustling from Nomad Kids and Trip y'all doing over there. It's like I just kind of giggled to myself and it's like, yeah, I guess we're doing something right. Motherfuckers want to bite it.
Hey, you know what? Imitation is the best form of flattery. I know where it came from. I ain't got to go out there and pound my chest and say, hey, nah, I ain't gonna do all that. But it gets to a point where you have to say something, man, because the authenticity of who's saying what. Where did you get those thoughts from? Where did those thoughts came from? You didn't originate it. Somehow, some way, we find a way to make some extra sauce, every single Nomad at Night unique. We can go.
Well, I believe, because between the kids, yourself, and myself, we take the time to process our thoughts and talk it out, while we're here.
Yep.
And so, it's not a pontification, but it's a kind of a holistic looking from this viewpoint, that perspective, this level of why we believe whatever it is we believe. And so with that detailed explanation that we each give, and then you hear the same thing from the other people without as much detail, just basically the bullet points, it's like, oh, you biting fucks.
I didn't want to say that, but yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. And that it's okay. You know what? Because it's going to be what it is. I tell you one thing, though, Maniacs. This season is when you definitely want to be tied into what we're doing. Because what's coming up, even though I'm going through, technical struggles right now, I'm going to get over that, man. Everything is temporary, man. Everything is temporary. That's just whatever's going on is just today. And, I'll get to where I need to be so I can produce the content we need to produce. But there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You know what I mean? There's a light at the end of the tunnel. We have bought not one subscription. We have not bought one view. And I don't think most people in this content creation era can say that. I haven't purchased one goddamn thing. Whatever we got is all organic. And it's going to stay that way because I mean it that way. We mean it that way. This ain't no cosmetic thing for us, man. This is just real. I want to make sure the Bears fans see this football thing the way we see this football thing. And we can break this down in a way that everybody can understand it and everybody can relate to what we're saying. So nobody's left out. I don't care who you are, care what color you are, care what creed you go by. If you love the Bears, you can find a home in this community and you can get football the way football should be spoken about. I'm not here to entertain you. Yeah, we will have some entertaining moments in here. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. But we are not here to entertain you. We're here to break it down and give it to you the way it should be brought. That's it. That's it.
Indeed. What is Crimson saying there? They are telling people y'all are talking through it because we talk football, Chicago style. Nice.
That's it. That's it. That's it. And I mean, I feel like we're a breath of fresh air, man. Every time we do one of these shows, Triple R, we done had all kinds of disagreements and we done went at it live. And I don't want people to misinterpret passion for this stuff as it's not what you think it is when you watch the show. It's just people feel a certain way. I come off a wrong way. Triple R might come off a wrong way. Kids may come off a wrong way. And either one of us three could go at the other about it. But to me, that's great content because he's feeling this way strongly about something. And I might have an opposing view to it that he adamantly disagrees with. Hash it out by the time we're done with it. Trust me when I tell you, when the show is over, we love each other. Am I wrong or right, Triple R?
Yeah. I mean, there's no animosity. It's like different viewpoints. Everybody, could have a valid position. It doesn't mean anybody is wrong or stupid or idiots or anything that people will call you for disagreeing with them or saying that, their viewpoint isn't what they think it is. That's just part of having a discussion. And the passion around, the Bears football, I don't know if that's matched by many other, especially in this city.
Nope, not at all. All right, so we are here for a Bears conversation, are we not, Triple R? Should we just not give them what they want?
Well, there's not a whole lot to discuss. Everybody's on vacation.
I'm gonna always surprise you all. I'm gonna always surprise you. Now, this conversation, let's maintain the Caleb conversation, and let's think about this for a second. And I'm talking about how much Caleb Williams should play in the preseason. We likely had a conversation about this a couple of weeks ago, I think. Now, when you're talking about approaching the preseason, we got 3 games. And speaking of that, hold on, I wanted to share my screen to show you all what the practice schedule looks like, training camp schedule looks like. But I'm afraid if I did that, this is how jacked up this computer is, and how low functioning it is. I can't even share my screen without feeling like, because I did this before you got into the show, Trip, and I got completely knocked off, and I had to sign back in. And if I did that live and got knocked off, there's no way to get back in. Trip will be here by itself. And so I cannot put up the training camp schedule. I wish I could, but the training camp schedule, that's there. We'll talk about that at a later date. But Caleb Williams, how many reps in the preseason games, Triple R and No Maniacs, do you think he should get? First game, how many reps do you think he should get. Second game, how many reps? Third game.
Well, what is it? 3 preseason games. So the working backwards, isn't it the third game that they played through the third quarter? And so the second game, they're probably playing through the second quarter. So the first game, probably the first quarter.
No,
And
man.
then, you bring in the backups.
I don't
Not
know.
the backups, but because remember, not only is the preseason the opportunity for the frontline starters to get the reps, but the back end of the roster has to be filled out. So those guys got to get reps too, so they can show what they can do. So it's not like we can say, all right, Caleb should get 100% of all the reps, because that's just not feasible. Him or any other player. They got to have the second line, third line, or the fourth line, however deep they go. So those guys all got to get some reps. So I say the first game, give them a quarter. Second game, the first half, and the third game, the first drive out of halftime, if not the entire third quarter.
Okay, so let me address what Crimson Supernova Maniac with the wrench is saying here, because this is important to my response here. He says, I want to see 2 consecutive successful drives, however long that takes. That's absolutely, when I say Crimson just hit the F out the park, he just smacked a 500-footer. That's exactly the most important thing. It's not about really how many reps he gets. It's about how clean it is. How fast does he get out of the huddle? How good is the communication at the line of scrimmage? Does he get there on time? Does he get the play off in time? Does he get his reads off? Does he adjust and slide the protection the right way? Does he do all the functionality of an NFL quarterback the right way to get him off the field in 2 drives? If it's not, give him some more reps. That's where I think we are. So Crimson is absolutely right. That's what I mean by coming to the Nomad Network and wanting to understand the details of how this stuff actually functions. If he is not functioning the right way, then all the other quarterbacks, we got to get him out there for some more reps, because he has to see this stuff live. We're gonna go through another series. If he went out there for a couple of series and it didn't look very well, and it wasn't clean, go back to the drawing board. Go and get out of the huddle clean. Get yourself 15 seconds on the time clock. Get to the line of scrimmage. Read the defense. Slide your protections. Call your hots. And you feel good, snap the ball and let's see what happens. Do you go through your right progression? We're going to get to progressions in a minute. But that's what you want to see. It's about getting in the huddle, delivering the play. Everybody knows what's going on. Getting out the huddle, getting to the line of scrimmage. That's a whole ball game right there. Getting to the line of scrimmage, giving yourself about, let's say, 12 to 15 seconds. Making sure you got time to read. If you down to like 5 to 7 seconds, you ain't got time to read shit. You got to be able to read what they trying to do to you. And so,
well, that's where the comment from Andre Bryant comes in. He plays as long as the starting offensive line plays.
That's so the offensive line needs to, every time Caleb takes a snap, if you have the chance to put every starter on that field, they should be taking reps with. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And so from that standpoint, I don't care how many snaps he has to play, as long as he gets some clean reps under his belt and the coaches are comfortable with it, he's comfortable with it, the offensive line is comfortable with it, and everybody else is comfortable with it. And there's just like, okay, that was good. That was good. Okay, he could have got out of the huddle a little bit quicker. Run him back one more time. Let's see if he gets this right. That kind of stuff. It's just that simple. It's the functionality of the offense and the crispness of it. Can you get in and out of that huddle to the line of scrimmage with the right amount of time, get the playoff? Now we can get into progressions. Now we can get into pass progressions. I don't think Caleb Williams, and I don't think any quarterback in the NFL, forget Caleb Williams, in the NFL, really should be going through this old school 4 progression, 3 and 4 progression reads. The game is too fast for that. 1, 2, you don't see
1, 2, run.
Yep. 1, 2, start making something happen. That's why I think we are. And to me, 110%, I think that's where Ben Johnson should be with Caleb Williams. Dog, if you don't see this thing in the first 2 reads, start doing Caleb Williams.
But then that also will kind of increase to maybe a 1-2-3, depending on the O-line. But the speed of the game, just off rip, 1-2, if it's not there, make a move, because we don't know yet how long you have in the pocket. You may have another read or two, but play it by ear. Right now, let's just make it happen, make it quick, and slow is smooth, smooth is fast, and then, progress from there.
Here comes Scrolls with that hate now. Stop. Stop that shit. Nah, you got you. Hey, Scrolls, I'm telling you, when I tell you, when I talk to my guys every offseason. Matter of fact, one just called me right before the show. And he wasn't talking about this, but we talk about this kind of stuff each and every time we have conversations. And every single time, man, we keep talking about how fast these edge rushers are getting, how athletic these defensive tackles are getting. And it's like you don't, until you have an offensive line that you feel comfortable behind that can give you 3 seconds, give you 4 seconds. That's like a luxury. 4 seconds is a luxury. 3 is, you better start thinking about patting them feet and bending them knees and running. You know what I mean? So 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds, 1,001, 1,002 people on your ass.
Yeah, that's why footwork is so important. So when he lands on that back foot and that internal clock is running because the rush is coming, the right footwork puts you in the right position to hit your receivers. Wrong footwork, that takes what, half second or less, or a fraction of a second to adjust that. You ain't got time for all that.
I think your average fan, and I'm not excoriating anybody, I'm talking about your average fan, has no idea how fast 1,001, 1,002, how long that is when you just getting the ball from under center or you're in the shotgun. Count yourself, 1,001, 1,002. Give yourself a half of a next second. And think about how long that is. You're getting back in your drop, you're gathering the football in your hands, and you're trying to read how the defense is playing you, where the receivers are presenting themselves, and you're trying to figure out where to deliver the ball in that little bit of time. Because you're going to have to move after you get to 2.5. You're going to have to move, whether you move in the pocket or you move outside the pocket. If you don't see what you need to see early, you got to drop it off or just run.
Well, that's what, not to switch subjects, but like a Dennis Allen, not versus Caleb, but Caleb versus, let's say, a Dennis Allen defense or Brian Flores defense, let's say. That kind of confusion along the defense, who's rushing, who's dropping in the coverage, who's going where. That few moments or that second or two is a second off of that time clock. So if that confusion can eat up some time, then you do that. And so that will take more processing time for Caleb or any other quarterback to figure out. So, that there's more time right there just from the defensive alignment, trying to figure out who's going where and doing what.
And when you have a guy as athletic as Kyler Gordon, when Caleb gets ready to snap that rock and he sees Kyler Gordon at the line of scrimmage when he snaps that rock, he's expecting Kyler Gordon to be at the line of scrimmage when he snaps that rock.
Right. So he's going to go to Kyler Gordon's man.
Hop right out into coverage, into a flat.
Pick.
He's that athletic. He goes from the line of scrimmage out into a flat where he was thinking about throwing the ball. He's thinking about throwing to the right flat. That's where he was expecting Kyler Gordon to be, but he lined up on the line of scrimmage to go look like he's blitzing. Now snap the ball and he's all the way back there in the flat. He's that athletic. And so when we start talking about guys that don't know how to read defenses, don't know, how to stand in the pocket and nah, man, the game is changing right before our eyes. We just refuse to admit it. We refuse to except that this ain't the same football that your daddy played. It ain't. It's a lot faster, a lot more physical, and a lot more strong. Period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all of that, and more softer at the same time. Go figure.
Yeah, that too. When I say more physical, I mean these guys are getting bigger and stronger.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by that. Now they way less physical. They can't do what that Ray Lewis era that's right behind them used to be able to do and just tee off on somebody. I wish they could. But at the same time, man, I don't know, man. I came up in that. You know what I mean? I was able to tee off on people. You see somebody crawling across, going on a crossing route, and they coming into your space, especially when you're in zone coverage, and the ball even points towards their direction. Lay them out.
And now that he was not defenseless receiver. That's a penalty.
Whoa!
Because I'm trying to separate him from the ball. That's football, isn't it?
Whoa.
It used to be.
Scroll said guys are smaller and faster, but not stronger. You got to be kidding.
Oh, shit.
Have you seen the training programs these guys are doing, man?
How many plates they be having on them squats and them benches?
These dudes are so much stronger. Like if the old rules existed today, it'd probably be several dead people on the NFL field. Like we probably have deaths on the field, man. Like these guys are way more physical, man. Way more physical.
It would be accidental, like up there in Buffalo when that dude almost died. It wasn't a dirty hit. It wasn't a vicious hit. It was just an opportune hit. That a regular heartbeat kind of thing. So he took a shot in the chest, like right as his heart was beating or some shit, and that made it all go cattywampus. And it's like, how long before somebody actually takes a shot, whether it be the head or the heart or whatever, and they don't leave that field, without a cart or a stretcher. And it's gonna happen. I mean, it's too physical of a sport for it not to happen. Nobody wants to see it, but I mean, come on. I mean, it is what it is. And so when these players go out there and they're putting literally their lives and livelihood on the line, and they want that guaranteed money, don't be a cheap ass. Go ahead and pay them. Give them what they want, what they earned, what they deserve, and just keep it as safe as possible. I think everybody ought to wear the Jimmy hat on the helmets. The Guardian shit to help with the concussions. Every little bit that you can for safety, do that because of the speed, because of the size. I mean, and it's a collision sport, and human bodies don't do collisions well. So, I mean, yeah, it's scary the way these dudes are just huge, just huge for no goddamn reason. Jesus.
Like Larry Allen, I love. This is I'll tell you all that story I used to tell on when I was doing podcasts with Shorty, but I think I've said it over here. I used to be a Cowboys fan and a Bears fan. And Larry Allen was a beast. He's talking about Scrolls is saying the strongest player ever is still Larry Allen. I would, yeah. But the difference between Larry Allen strong in that era, Larry Allen is pig feet, beans, and cornbread strong. These guys are lean, chicken breasts, pasta, and broccoli strong.
A fish no skin.
Yeah. These dudes got Larry Allen. There's no denying that dude power. Absolute beast. Absolute beast. One of these days, I think I need to make some kind of arrangement with the NFL, the NBA, and major boxing organizations. I watch so much classic football, classic basketball, classic boxing. Those are my rock and stone, man. I watch so much of it. And I watch so much Larry Allen. I watch so much Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin, Troy Aikman. I watched so much Barry Sanders. I watched so much. Man, there's a team, the Seattle Seahawks had one of the most dominant offensive line outside the Cowboys when they had Sean Alexander. I watched those games religiously. They just absolutely did what they wanted to do to people. This is when the wide zone concept, talking about Sean Alexander and the Seahawks, really started to really set into the NFL culture. They just absolutely annihilated people. Sean Alexander was just perfect for that time. And I'm pretty sure he should be in the Hall of Fame. And most of those offensive linemen, the Chiefs running back, Priest Holmes, all those dudes, man. It's like, I love that shit, man. I love it. I absolutely love it. Look at Crimson. He says, I still got a Sean Alexander jersey out here to this day.
Yeah, he was a big dude that could run. And when he ran, it always looked like he was running downhill.
Man.
And DBs did not want to get in front of him.
Man, he says I can name off a long, he's trying to say a long list of players like Allen, McMichael, Okoye, Christian Okoye. Remember him?
Nigerian Nightmare who got his cookies taken by, who was that? Derek Thomas? Who was that took his soul?
I don't know.
It wasn't Derek Thomas because he's on the same team. But Christian Okoye was trying to do a short yardage run or something, and a defender hit him so hard that was basically the end of his career. I just don't remember who that defender was.
I don't know.
Somebody famous. I think it was a linebacker, maybe. But I remember because I was in Missouri at the time. I know when he was doing shit.
I know what you're talking about, Trip. Somebody did bless him.
And they basically took his soul. And he was no longer a nightmare after that. He was just kind of not even a wet dream.
Damn.
And that was like basically the end of his shit. See, Campsey, I think it was a DB. I don't know who it was, but it was they rocked.
I think it was a safety, man.
World.
I was just looking at something. Damn. Hold on. I'm gonna come up with it. It wasn't the safety out of Washington that passed away. It wasn't him.
Sean Taylor.
It was a safety out of the Bucks. He's a GM for the
Brother Lynch on?
Yeah, it was John Lynch.
John Lynch.
It was John Lynch. Blessed him. Blessed him.
He was done after that.
Blessed him. It was John Lynch. Blessed his ass.
Yeah. Lynch was bringing it back in the day.
Hey, I heard some stories that, like, I ain't gonna tell y'all about, that I know number 40 that played for the Tampa Bay Bucks personally. I ain't gonna tell y'all that, but I heard they had to stop them two, talking about John Lynch and number 40, from banging in practice. They was banging like Crips and Bloods out there in California in practice. And they just like, Herman was like, oh. From this point on, don't you? No. You like
Save it for the game.
What's his name? The fullback.
Use check. Nah, that's too old. Use check.
Allstott.
Mike Allstott.
Mike Allstott.
Down there, the Yuccaneers.
Yeah. Hey, I'm telling you right now. That's right there at the era. Now let's talk about this too, Ben, before I get carried away. Now, Trips, you will be like my hero right now if you can help me out here, because I was not tied into the Bears and what they do as much as I am now. Now, during Lovey's last year, the 10-6 year, in which he got fired afterwards, what happened, man? What was it? What was going on with the Bears? Do you know? or do you remember what was going on with the Bears? I know I wish Kez was here right now because he would probably fucking know.
I was there. Well, I wasn't there, but I was obviously watching at the time, and it was like, wait a minute, he's 10-6. Why is he getting fired? I was perplexed at the time, and I believe the reasoning was it wasn't a contract thing because he still had a year left on his deal. I think I don't remember the actual reason. George McCaskey. Oh, there you go. So whatever hair McCaskey got up his ass, that's why. Whatever that was. And I'm sure that the reporting is out there. I just don't remember offhand what it was or why or who had beef or what Lovey said or did, or I don't know. But it did not end pretty. And it was irritating because he was 10-6 when they fired him. It's like, why are you firing a coach that's winning? So, yeah, still perplexed.
I don't know. I'm going to take you guys, the No Maniacs and the Super No Maniacs, going to be able to tell me more than I ever knew at that moment because I wasn't readily available, man. I was not. And all I knew is what the headline said. That's it. That's all I knew about the Bears. And, I would get into draft and the players that's coming out and study them a little bit and kind of know a few players on the team, but I was not immersed in this Bears culture the way I am now. And so every time I hear you guys talking about it, what was happening at the end of Lovey's era, what was happening, that's all new stuff to me. It's all new stuff to me. And I just wondered to myself, like, did we really screw the pooch here, man? Because I think we haven't been a really good team since.
Well, look at the Scrolls is saying he blames 670, the radio, the score, and the likes of Bernstein, who ain't there no more, for helping push Lovey out. Haven't listened to them since. And then Crimson said George had just gotten the job and Lovey lost to the Packers. That's about it. Went 10-6 and missed the playoffs. Fired. Yeah, that was basically it because it wasn't like he did anything like egregious to be fired. It was kind of out of the blue.
I think in Andre Bryant, good point. But Crimson and Scrolls here. Let's start with the Scrolls, and we'll get to Crimson. Scrolls says, I blame 670 and the likes of Bernstein for helping pushing Lovey out. Haven't listened to them since. You know what? I came into this podcasting thing, and there was a lot of animosity towards 670 to score. Lots of it. When I got in here, I didn't understand quite why, Trip. When I first got in a couple of years ago when I got here, I didn't understand that. I was just new to it. I was getting into the media side of Bears love and seeing what was being said here, what's being said there. And I didn't quite get it. I'm just like, who is this? There'd be people talking shit on Twitter about Bernstein, Holmes, and this person, that person. I'm like, who are these people? And so I started watching more and more and more and more. And then I found out who they were, start watching the content. I ain't going to say that I came away with the same impression, but I'm definitely understanding what Scrolls is saying here. How people that have platforms can drive us to get in a situation where a Lovey Smith 10-6 coach can get fired.
Yeah, because if you get on, TV or the radio enough and you're constantly saying, oh, Lovey's this, Lovey sucks that, Lovey isn't this, Lovey's that. And as Scrolls was saying, the media despised Lovey because he didn't give him anything. Who's the quarterback? Rex is our quarterback. Next question. And it's like, well, why? Because blah, blah, blah. Rex did this. Good Rex, bad Rex. Rex is our quarterback. Next question. And so they didn't really, cotton to him because he wouldn't, feed the beast. So it's just kind of like, hey, we don't like Lovey. So there's a whole campaign and and hate thing, and it's like, oh, we need to get rid of Lovey, or Lovey this, or Lovey did this, and now Lovey's fired, and they talk shit about the next coach and the next players, that because that's what they do on the radios and such. It's not clickbait, it's listen bait. That was before they had clicks back then. It was just turn on and get all fired up and get all pissed off from this shit that we're talking, and then carry that on into your daily life.
I'm gonna get back to your comment, Crimson. I'm gonna try to remember to get back to that comment. I got it started. I'll try to come back here. But what you just got through saying, and I'll put Scrolls' comment back up here. He says 670, blames Bernstein, and here's the hard thing about it. I like some of those commentators there. I like Layla. I like the other guy. What's his name? Marshall. I like that guy. I like Lawrence Holmes to a point sometimes. Like he's taking this whole it's like here's what I think is going on, you all. I think the commentators are starting to learn that anybody that will do anything and design their show around publicly defending Caleb Williams, right or wrong, knows they have a fan base to do that. Because the fan base want to protect Caleb Williams. I do too. But here's where it goes wrong. You start listening to people who, no matter what, you end up in a show like Cap and Jay Hood had, where they're, you got Cap talking, not Cap, but Jay Hood talking shit to an NFL player. I think it was DeMarcus Spears or somebody he was talking to. He's talking shit to him, trying to defend Caleb Williams. Like, dog, don't get so caught up in my quarterback. I believe in my quarterback, and somebody else doesn't. Don't let that go to the level where you get your ass kicked in public. You done went to the level where you start talking shit about that man. I'm not advocating nobody do anything to anybody. I'm not calling Jay Hood a name or disrespect him or anything. But I thought I heard some words on that show. And so it's often, Trips, when I'm doing content for the show, when I'm doing graphic design and all that kind of stuff, well, I'll turn on one of those shows, ESPN 1000 or 670 The Score, and I'll listen to it while I'm doing work, getting ready for a show. And sometimes I hear over the line, like dog, stay in your lane. This is Chicago. We protect our people. We protect our quarterback, but don't go to the nth degree to where you done fucked around and crossed the line. Like if I guarantee you some of the words I heard him say, talking about Jay Hood, if I'm that player, I can't wait till I see him at a function of media.
He say on site.
Not your big ass.
On site, my ninja.
Yeah, man, you got to watch your mouth. Just because you own the internet or you got the space between you, the airways between you, don't mean you should just say anything you want to fucking say.
Yeah, because that's why I always, believe it or not, temper the things I say, even though I don't. Because I kind of always assumed that when I'm talking to someone, even though we're on the internet, that we are face to face, and that at any time somebody could say some shit that can catch them, a two-piece. And I think a lot of the internet dwellers and the radio hosts forget that, and so they just be going off and blabbing and going off running the jibs and talking all kind of shit. But if you were face to face and you said that shit, well, first of all, I don't think they would say it face to face. But if they did, they would catch one or two. And I think this generation just don't know nothing about that.
Yeah. Now I think therein lies the problem. The internet and the space between one person and the next, they think it's like a zillion miles away from each other, but life is 6 degrees of separation.
Mm-hmm.
6 degrees of separation. Should be mindful. Triple R just said it perfect. You choose the words that you say as if you're standing next to a guy or a gal. You don't say stuff about people that you wouldn't say to them when you see them. Anything I say, if I meet anybody, one of these days people will know who I am, and I'll be live on the air, and you all will see me. It'll be a day that comes, I think. But right about now, I look at the space that we're in. I remember not too long ago, we're talking about 2-3 weeks ago, Triple R. I don't know if you heard about the story. Some YouTubers, and I think they were based out of Las Vegas. And this is everybody has their little echo chamber, right? And their little ecosystem. Vegas and what they talk about in Vegas, Chicago, what we talk about in Chicago, LA, what they talk about New York, and all over the world. And even, really all over the world, everybody has their lane, right? And so let's just say these podcasters out in Vegas were really making hay with their podcast, talking about the streets of Vegas and what to do in Vegas, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Some other podcaster came into their lane and like, hey, I'm from Vegas too. This is what I think about Vegas. And it was like, they over here talking about this over here. This is what I see in Vegas. And there was like a little, I don't know if it was friendly or unfriendly, but either way, it turned into a deadly situation. The newcomer came into the space, and all of a sudden, these people that were making content and making money off of it, all of a sudden started losing subscribers, and they were going over to this person's channel, this newcomer, and all kind of stuff happened. The story is kind of blurry to me, but at the end of the day, I know this: they were public figures on YouTube. They were content creators. Public figures saying the wrong shit to each other, just grimy shit to each other, and it ended up and boom, boom.
Oh, damn.
And so I would encourage anybody listening to my voice right now. I know that a lot of people feel like they can talk this Bears talk and they can talk just general, current events, whatever they might be, in a real way that people will relate to. All I'd say to you is be careful putting out who you are, because there's always somebody that wants to snatch you down.
Yeah.
You might not know where they come from. So that's why what Triple R just said is important. Be mindful of what you say about who and how you say that about that individual makes all the difference in the world. You don't want nobody just rolling up. You might not even see it coming. So just putting that out there.
Yeah, and like Scrolls is saying, this generation knows how to call 911 or HR or shoot. They don't know how to throw hands.
They ain't qualified. They shouldn't know how to throw it. They ain't qualified. Everybody ain't qualified to be throwing hands with people. You know what I mean? That, and they know it. Little weak cats know it, but then they can get goaded into a conflict where, hey, put the gun down, and they start fighting like all kinds of women.
Because here's the thing that really perplexes me about people. It's like, all right, if you gotta, smoke somebody in a self-defense situation, all right, I get it. But you got beef, and you are going out on beef, doing this. That ain't gonna end good for you. I mean, if you gonna, duke them up, maybe get a black eye, bust a nose, whatever, you heal. You go back to your show and do their show. They go to their show and they keep doing their show. You go out with a weapon like that, all right, you get rid of them. You think you just going back to your show? No, you going to prison. You know what I mean? So how does that just doesn't make any goddamn sense to me.
Yes, it does. Emotional immaturity.
Well, there's that. Well, yeah, I guess that does make sense, but that's just not thinking it through.
That's what
because if you got beef with somebody, hey, what you say about my mama type thing, and you smack them up a little bit, and then everybody walks away. And the one that got smacked up be like, well, maybe I should get something to go back at him, or maybe I should leave that alone because I got smacked up. Let me walk away, leave that alone. That's the way it kind of used to be. But nowadays, these softies are like, well, I got to go do this and blah, blah, blah. And now you locked up forever. And it's like, well, now, you're a big man, aren't you now? You showed him, dumbass.
Hey, man, look, you as an individual, and, I'm going to do another channel here whenever I get another PC to do this right. I'm going to do another channel, and it's not going to be connected to the Nomad Network. And when I start having these conversations that we're having right here, right now, about, there needs the assignment. It's going to be about the assignment. How we have to learn how to operate. You got to know who you are. You got to know who you are and what you're capable of. What you should and shouldn't be doing if you're not capable. You know what I mean? Like a weapon is a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Do we even need those all the time? Do we need to be walking around carrying a weapon? For most people that carry a weapon, they have the intention to use it. For the balanced person that has emotional maturity, it's just there. It's just a part of their garment, their clothing. And the person that's not emotionally mature will go into a place and any little thing can set them off and down a path of no return.
Yeah.
Any little thing. If you're not straight, if you don't know how to manage your emotions and turn and do an about face and say, hey, you got it, I'm gone. If you can't do that, you in trouble. You in trouble out here, and this is a matter of time, bro.
Yeah. Because I always came up, I always talk my shit, but guess what? I always talk my shit in person too. And it's not from a place of hate, but I'm a logical kind of thing. And it's like, hey, you're a dumbass, and here's why. And, break them down to where it's like, well, I guess you're kind of right. I am kind of a dumbass. I'm like, yeah, you are. But if people had beef, we did it because, grow up in a city, you busted balls. You played the dozens. You sat on the back of the bus and, you talked about each other's mamas. And so you kind of just grew up in that talking shit environment. And if you couldn't handle it, you got made fun of even more, beat up, because of it. So you had to know how to handle your business, coming up in the hood. And, it just carried on. So it's like, like Crimson, it's like, sometimes your mouth kind of goes, but it's like, hey, you don't like it, all right, do something about it, and then it's on. But then that's just life on the streets, but as we've aged and matured, we realize that, yeah, that street bullshit is just that bullshit. Now, there will be times where you may have to step up and, to defend your manhood or your lady's honor, or your child's honor, or whatever the hell. And you got to do what you got to do. But until then, everybody just chill out. You know what I'm saying? Treat everybody like you want to be treated.
I tell you what the problem is. The problem is the same, and it's always been the same. And it's this. You grow up in an environment like I did, and like Triple R did, or it pays to be a little more aggressive than the next person. Where it not pays, it might pay actually, but it's to your advantage to be more aggressive than the next person. And, you wear that with you and people know, people just know, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I was one of them people that I walked around, once even before I got the boxing skills, I was one of them people that was just like, dog, I'm gonna go wherever I want to go. You ain't gonna stop me to gang territories and shit like that. All that kind of stuff. You can't go over here. You can't, man, I'm going where the fuck I want to go. That's just how I moved. And people knew I always had a ball with me, whether it was a football, basketball, and people knew I was all about. So that negated a whole lot of stuff just because I always had a ball with me. You know what I mean? I was always balling. But when it came down to getting down to the nitty gritty, I bet you I put on some demonstrations that people got up off my ass and I can go where I want to go But everybody wasn't skilled like that. Everybody wasn't like that. You know what I mean? And so all I would say to that is you should be mindful individually where you go, who you talking to, and whether there's an exit. Because if there's an exit, you have no reason other than that person is really trying to attack you to get into a confrontation. That should be your last actual resort of action. Don't get into that confrontation. A physical fight can end up in somebody's death. I mean, literally punches. A couple of punches, you can hit somebody in the wrong space in their head, hit him in the temple, and he'll never recover.
Mm-hmm.
Anything. It's just a regular fight. Don't be rushing into that shit. And definitely, fuck the guns, man. Stuff getting to the wrong level too fucking fast. And people not thinking this shit through. It's like, man, I tell these kids all the time, do it need to get to this level? Is it going to the wrong level? You tell me yes or no. And they can't react to that.
Well, that's the thing. Too many people nowadays are reacting and not responding. And there is a difference. Reacting is more off the cuff, just something happened to me, boom. I'm going to respond. I'm going to react with a punch, as opposed to a response of, yeah, let me go ahead and leave this dude alone because he ain't right in the head. And there is no benefit from me discussing, arguing, or fighting with this bastard. So I'm out. That's a response, not a reaction. Nowadays, you step on somebody's foot, their first reaction is to try to shoot you.
Mm-hmm.
That is not the correct response. So the difference between response and reaction needs to be taught and ingrained in kids, people, but it's not. It's just more emotion and off the cuff. And I've been wronged, and so I have to wrong you more. And then it's just, tit for tat, and that leads, down a very destructive path.
Hey, Trish, I got an assignment for the No Maniacs, Super No Maniacs, and anybody. I believe most people that's watching the show, most people, I would just say anywhere between 75 percentile, maybe 80, 85. I'll go up to that. Have seen the movie Life. Have seen the movie Life.
Yeah,
and
Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence.
Yes, sir. And it's one of the most hilarious movies I've ever seen in my life. I mean, you just go to the outtakes. If you don't want to sit there and watch the whole movie, go to the outtakes. The outtakes are fucking hilarious. But the movie and the principle of it is to show you how quickly a normal person going to living a normal life can end up with the L. And sitting there, you're not thinking about that when you want to go get revenge, or you want somebody hit you and knock you out, or whatever they did to you, whooped your ass, or whatever happened. You couldn't take that, and you had to go get revenge on you. And you ended up with that life sentence. When that judge tell you life with no possibility of parole, brother, you ain't seeing shit. You ain't thinking about that when you're ready to go bust. You ain't thinking about it. You finna go just bust because that's gonna make me feel better. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna make that judge feel better. Filling up that goddamn hole in the state system or the federal system that they need to get free labor out your ass for the rest of your motherfucking life.
Mm-hmm. You going in there and you're about to be somebody's wife, passed around.
Because you're weak as hell without your gun.
Right. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. If you're relying on that for your identity, for your protection, for your, hoodness, no. It's only a tool. And it's not a tool that can be used all the time. It's not a tool that is legal everywhere. But, every other person's like, well, I got to be strapped because everybody else is strapped. And if I'm not strapped, I'm going to get got. And it's like, yeah, that's not really true, but sure. Because there's been plenty of people who mind their business, not carrying weapons, that don't need one because they're not out there like that, and they're not trying to, live up to some ideology that is not them.
Man, so quick, so fast. Life changes dramatically at the drop of a hat. All you got to do is be emotionally immature enough to go make that dumbass decision. That's all you got to do.
And if you want to be smart about it and you have to, take somebody out or take somebody down, make sure it's a self-defense scenario and you always call the cops first.
Yeah.
Because the first one to tell the story is usually the one that is not the one that they looking for.
Life, you just don't know what happened. Life could rise to that level, but you just got to know it when you see it. You got to know it when you see it. And one other thing I think you all should notice and pay attention to and adhere to is this. Hit that share, hit that subscribe button, share the stuff with your people, man. And I ain't gonna get no more carried away with that. You all know what you should do for the good channels that's giving you nothing but gospel right here. And this ain't biblical. This is just real life, how to move. Around here, this is how you move, man. You stay out the way. Don't run towards a conflict. Just be cool, man. And that's when I start this next channel, I'm gonna be doing some teaching. I ain't gonna be preaching. I'm gonna be teaching.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be teaching. You got to move from day to day and move in a certain way. And when you're not regular to it, you're gonna have to practice it. And so if you're not used to walking away from certain things and not engaging with a certain conversation and avoiding certain circles and certain crowds and making sure that when you see something, your instincts telling you something, all right, this ain't feeling right. This could go left. Take that first instinct and get the fuck on out of there. Holler at them tomorrow if they live. But get your ass up out of there. I'm gonna teach. You're gonna find out Nomad is way more powerful than this Bears conversation. But you'll see that later. But yeah, man, I got one more Bears conversation to have, Trips, before we get up out of here. And we don't have to leave until you're ready. But and I'm asking the No Maniacs too, are the expectation for the Chicago Bears this upcoming season, are they too high? Are they right on time based on what you're hearing?
I'm hearing any place between 9 and 11 wins. I don't think that's too high. Considering the talent level of the players on this team, which have improved over the offseason, with the free agents, the trades, and the rookies. And you got to have some leeway for the offense and defense to gel, as they're all new systems, all new coaches. So there has to be some sort of a growing learning curve. But with the expectation level of the number one available head coach in Ben Johnson, offensive brain as he is, the former last year's number one quarterback pick, plus the upgrades, the expectation should be about, I'll give it 10 games.
Yeah. And I'm starting to see a lot of, I know everybody else is seeing the same stuff I'm seeing. So it's not like I'm seeing something that's, out of the ordinary. Everybody's seeing the same content that I'm seeing. I see the same highlights, same thumbnails, the same headlines as everybody else. We all see the same stuff. You either click on it or you don't. But I noticed this. There's a lot of people laying it on thick. And I'd say I'm 50-50 with it, rightfully so and not so much. And I'll explain that. Rightfully so, I mean, when you make the kind of moves that Chicago has made, you draft a quarterback in the first round and you surround him with the kind of weapons that he has. You do the offensive line changes, you bolster up the interior part of the offensive line, and only question mark you really have is the outside left tackle spot. Shore that up, and you feel like you're in the right place. You feel like your running backs are exactly what you need. You didn't make any moves to other than Kyle Monangai in the 7th round. That's not, to me, that's not reassuring. That tells me that you all are comfortable with who we have in that room. And if you're comfortable, you see him every day on the field. You good with it. I'm expecting you professional football people to know that we're good in that running back room. So I'll take it for what it's worth. But what I would say about the entire conversation about is it too much pressure? I would say no. But at the same time, that daunting schedule, quarterback in his second year, in a second offense. I'm going to say that. In a second offense, learning the offense for the first time. That part, I'm sympathetic as fuck about Caleb Williams because I know that's a process. And we can expect all we want as fans. And we should expect great things. But at the same time, to be realistic and to keep it down to earth like we always are on this channel, I can't help but to lean towards that. That's why I say 50-50. I'm over here and I'm over there. I feel like we should be winning some games, but I understand what the process is.
Yeah, and it's just that, a process. Historically, it was, all right, you make the playoffs, you get bounced. The next season, you get further into the playoffs, you get bounced. The season after that, Super Bowl, maybe you get bounced, maybe you win. But it's a progression. Or, it's like you get into the playoffs and you win out, depending on health, depending on situation, depending on matchups. So, Ben Johnson, if he can, I don't know what the possibilities are of him, having this offense average 30 points a game in the first season. You think that's a possibility?
Run that by me one more time.
That Ben Johnson can get this offense to the average of 30 points per game
in the first year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he can. I'll tell you why, because I believe that once he whispers in Caleb's ear and gets Caleb to understand, trust his feet, the drops, and when he hits his back foot to fire that goddamn thing, trust your eyes. Once he gets him in that rhythm that, hey, this is, you just have to make the defense respect, hey, once I get to my drop, it's going somewhere. Once you got the defense to respect that, they're going to have to make a decision. Do I want to overplay it over here? Do I want to overcompensate it here? Here, it's defense. It's just a game of chess. Caleb, if he can get Caleb to crack the code somewhere in the season, whether it's through 4 games, 5, 6, mid-season, wherever it is, end of the season, we talking about a team that can get 8, 9 games, maybe 10, if he can get them to crack the code. But that's a hell of a thing, because the defensive play happens so fast, Triple R. Like I, to play quarterback in the NFL, I'd be a running quarterback. Because I know that trying to go through this shit that this quarterback, this coach is telling me. He's telling me to stand back here and go through these progressions. By the time you get to here, you should be able to throw that ball over here. But, Coach, you ain't really respecting the fact that these motherfuckers are breathing down my neck. You're telling me to step up in the pocket, and these motherfuckers coming on strong from the interior. So what do you want me to do? I'm not comfortable back here, so I'm going to run this ball. We're going towards that kind of NFL. We got a quarterback. We got a head coach that wants him to be a pocket quarterback. So he's got to listen to that.
Well, I think it also helps that, Loveland, Burden, DJ, are all very good in the short to intermediate routes. Alameda, there are weapons that should be open within that window. And if Coach Johnson and them can get Caleb to make those quick reads, don't go big game hunting. Just take what's there. Take what the defense is giving you. We have enough athletes that can get open and get the yards after catch to make it, a viable offense and weaponry. But it's just getting the ball to your weapons. That starts with, the footwork. That starts with the protection. And that starts, but the receivers have to run the right routes and all that. Everything has to come together. But it is set up to where if we have to capitalize on the 0 to 15, 20-yard window, we have enough weapons to maximize that.
Yep. That's exactly why we just put it all together in one nice little piece of gum. Everything that I was talking about the hell with all them 3 and 4 read progressions. 1 and 2, get rid of the ball. You just played it out. That's exactly, and the fans of what we do and the fans of the Bears all together. You've been hearing all kinds of stuff from everybody saying this, saying that. I want to see Caleb do this. I want to see Caleb do that. I want to see him throw for 4,000 yards. How he gets to that. Does it matter to you that he's throwing the ball down the field for? There's
quarterbacks all across the league that say, "Oh, he threw for 500 yards." Yeah, a lot of screens that went to the house.
All that,
a lot of slants that went to the house. Not deep passes and not bombs, but enough of a pass to get it to your athlete, and then they run for 80 yards and a touchdown. So there's a lot of that going on. So it's not just all about the deep ball or the bombs.
I watched Jamar Chase then they get 2,000 yards basically in the intermediate area that we're talking about, that 15 yards and in, maybe 20 yards and in, somewhere in that neighborhood, 0 to 18, something like that, in that little intermediate area, and turn that shit to house calls, and racked up about 2,000 yards damn near doing it.
Yeah, and if there's no yak, if it's just down at the point of the catch, Burrow doesn't have as many yards as he ends up with.
Right.
But because he has a Chase and all the other athletes there, he'll hit that intermediate shit touchdown.
You know what
because
the problem
they are
is?
so good.
You know what the problem is, Trip? Too many fans of football worry about box score instead of the functionality of the game.
That's not something I have ever really looked at, box scores.
Lucky for you.
Because I don't give a shit. I watch the games. And I already know it's like, oh yeah, he threw that pass, and that was a nice bomb. Or he threw that pass, oh, that was a short pass, and he took it to the house. I know the difference. Whereas watching the box score, you see completed pass, 80 yards, touchdown. Ooh, he threw an 80-yard bomb. No, he didn't.
It's so irrelevant to the functionality of the game. You're gonna have, like, Caleb Williams is gonna have. He's gonna have those 8-yard, 5 to 7 yard hitches that end up house calls. 2-yard screen or zero pass, end up house calls. He'll have the 60-yard pass that can get, traipse into the end zone. He'll have those. But trust me when I tell you, once he gets to the point where he's throwing that ball down the field for 400 yards in a game, that means either it's two things happening. Either we're really, really advancing, that's on the really good side of things, and he's really, really learning how to use his weapons, or the run game sucks.
Well, and it's not the box scores, but online people are putting up these charts, these graphs on passes or runs or whatever, and it's like, the Bears are up here and the good teams are over here, And it's not box scores and it's not analytics, but it's like charts and shit that people are just making up based on the numbers from these games. And I can't figure out. It's like, all right, if you're on this side of the chart, it means this. If you're over here, I don't know what the hell that shit means. But they be all into it, and it's like, well, what does this have to do with the actual games? Nothing.
It's all about the people that have the energy to go back and forth for 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours, or somebody on Twitter that's just going back and forth. What about? Ain't nobody got time for that shit, man.
Man,
I ain't got time. That's why I'm not on Twitter, man. I ain't got time for that shit. Man, all that shit don't mean nothing to me, man. Go take that piece of paper or whatever stat you got and go wipe your ass with it, man. I can't do nothing with it. I look at the game, how it functions. How did he get to the 400 yards? Why did he get to the 400 yards? Did he need to throw for 400 yards? Why? It's about the why for me.
Yeah. I mean, that's a fair question. It's like, oh, he got garbage time points. So they really don't count. I'm like, well, okay, how did that happen? Well, the box score said it came late in the fourth. Like, well, did you watch the game? How did the game play out? What was the situation? What was the scenario? Here we go, yo. What's the scenario? Oh, I don't know. I didn't watch the game. I'm like, what am I talking?
Remember that next time you hear a stat, PFF just ranked such and such as the worst player in the NFL. Where did PFF come up with that? They just racking numbers, or did they watch
numbers, charts, graphs, columns, linears, XY axes, and shit? I don't know.
Go on PFF show anytime tomorrow and bust every one of their ass with facts. Fuck an analytic. Film. That's your Bible. If you want to be a good football commentator on these podcasts and know what you're talking about and want to challenge, I'll challenge anybody with analytics, think they know what they're talking about because numbers mean something and numbers make, to a certain extent. But at a certain point, you throw that shit right on out the window.
Yeah, like Crimson said, let them, it's all data. More data means more accurate projection probability. Yeah, but none of that shit makes a tackle.
Nope.
None of those probabilities can complete a pass.
Say that again, Trip.
You know what I'm saying? You can have all the charts you want, but none of those actually play the game. They are the looking at what happened after the game was over and then trying to analyze it. And it's like, well, okay, that may have some kind of numerical thing, but it does not match watching the actual game and the film from the game and taking it from there, in my opinion. If whatever they get from it, they get from it, but I don't get it.
I'll tell any no maniac here, super no maniac, or anybody watching the show that's not commentating and not having anything to say in the chat. If you're a person that watches those kind of shows, the analytics people, this is what you need to label them as. They're analytics people. They come up with a composite score or a composite average for this, that, or the third, and they make their metrics based off of that. And they will grade, and I graded this. All you hear as a fan is PFF graded this person as that. How they came up with that grade. Next time you go on a show like that and they have a live show and you're in the private and you're in the chat, tell them to put Nomad on that motherfucker. Somebody that's avid about watching the goddamn film. Fuck a number. See what happens. Who's Nomad? I don't know Nomad. Bring me on the goddamn show. I'll bust all their ass. I watch the film, bro, religiously.
And it's like, well, according to this chart, DeAndre Swift should blah, 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 blah. I was like,
nerds.
Okay. Damn, y'all got a lot of free time.
Man, it's irritating, man, that people give them all that energy. The real shit happens in the film room, bro. After you get out the film room, you don't need no number crunching. You don't. It's either you execute this way, know this when you see it, run it right, defend it right, or you don't. All these analytics of DeAndre Swift is ranked 31st back in the NFL. Why? Why?
Because what?
Exactly. All these know-it-alls, man. It's irritating, but before I get really upset about it, I'm a you know what, Trips, you want to go into some extra sauce right quick before we get up out of here? One more.
Yeah,
Are you ready to go?
I'm actually ready to go. We can do one more thing real quick.
Well, if you're ready to go, we're gonna close it out, man. If you gotta go. I don't want to keep it no longer than we should.
Yeah, it's 11, 3 hours, just the two of us, kids, tripping. Probably churning some fresh butter.
I know, Crimson. They don't want no real football. They don't want no.
And it's like, yeah, it's all good. Fan how you want to fan. If you don't want to actually watch the games and prefer to do the analytics, cool. I guess it's kind of like if you playing a video game, you don't want to play the game, so you send it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Whatever. But I'm saying that's just not for me. I'm not saying nobody else shouldn't do it or shouldn't enjoy it. Knock yourselves out. Whatever floats your boat, float that motherfucker on. I'm just ain't on it.
Just like you can train an individual physically to be a great football player, we can help train you to be a better football fan and know the bullshit when you see it and avoid it. That's what we're doing over here, man. That's all it is to it, man. Some bullshit out there, bro. Straight bullshit. And I ain't talking about just PFF. I don't like that particular format. It ain't me. But those guys over there, they do their thing and they get paid for it. For people that gravitate towards that, good for them. It's just not my bag, bro. It's just not my bag. And I ain't gonna ever stray away from the film. That's my Bible. And I believe in it. What I see, I believe. It ain't no numbers. So that being said, Triple R, man, hey, let's give some pleasantries before we get up out of here.
Hey, shout out to all the No Maniacs. You know who you are. You know who's in the chat, who participates, with your comments, with your questions. And we appreciate it all because as we have been talking about, the supporters, the fans, if you will, of the Nomad Network, of Sports Chicago Style, of Kids the Canuck, are very football savvy, if you will. A higher average football IQ than I would say your average fan. And so for this, I salute you all.
Thank you for that, sir. And make sure you let Chef Trips know how much I appreciate him and love him for what he did today. Got me hungry. And I'm going to avoid it. I'm going to get through this night and not going to make me a bologna sandwich. Not only because I don't have it in my kitchen, but I can make something else close to that. But I ain't going to do it. I'm going to take my ugly ass to bed. That's what I'm going to do. My ugly ass going to sleep. And I'm going to enjoy this evening. And I want to say this before we get out of here to all you football fans and all you Bears fans out here. I didn't intend to ride on any particular format, any particular podcast, or any particular content creator. I'm just saying what it is. It's people that really know what they're talking about out here. And there's really people who just go with whoever thinks this conversation would get me more clicks, more views, more subscribers. I ain't in it for that. And I don't know Trips, and I know kids. I can speak for them when it comes to that. It's about getting it right, getting it accurate. And at the end of the day, if you want to judge anything that comes out of the Nomad Network, judge the accuracy. Judge it. See how many times they're right when they say this. See how many times they're right when they say that. That's the best thing to do. And then go from there. Go from there. I don't care who you like to watch, who you gravitate to. Come back to here and judge. Okay, they said this. This podcast said that. How many times have they, it's out there. So this season is going to be the tale of the tape, in my opinion. It's going to be the tail of the tape, straight up. And
Yeah,
so
because we're at that precipice point to where if this iteration of the Bears regime goes sideways or goes south, we're fucked for a long time.
yeah. I don't even want to talk about it. I'm knocking on wood right now. That's my
right. So yeah, we need this to go right.
okay. So really quickly, man. Number one, Keds gave me. I have not seen the website until 2 or 3 days ago. Keds brought me. Matter of fact, it was on. I think it was Sunday. Keds, I asked Keds to bring me into it. I told him particularly, since he was building the site, that I was going to stay out of there. And I thought that me not being there would speed up his progress, and it has. He was just going with it. He's going with the flow. He's got great. That website is going to be really, really good. He's got features there for all of us. And I'm talking about me, Triple R, himself, Samo, if he ever decides he wants to do content with us again. He's got it all. He's got it all going on over there. He's got a blog. He's got just we're gonna get to it all. So I would encourage you all. You know, we are in a lull period, and it doesn't seem that exciting right now. And it's not okay. The Nomad Network, they do great podcasts. And listen, there's more coming. The graphic designs, they're coming. They're coming. And I just want you all to look forward to that. Kids is about to put the finishing touches on it. We're going to get a drop shipper. He's got one little obstacle right about now. And shout out to Kids wherever he's at. I think he's somewhere on the East Coast doing some late night work, man. And I wish he was here, and I know he wishes he was too. But he know we was gonna rock it out with or without him, man. So we're doing this for him tonight, man. I know he wish he could be here. But you know, one last thing I would say before I go, and this ain't because I'm selfish. This is because I need help. I'm not doing this because I just I need help. Tonight, this show would have been a little bit different if I had the functionality that I need. I need a MacBook to work the way I need to work. And shout out to, again, Darian Denham, who gave the first donation to the channel to help me get that MacBook. All you got to do is hit that. If you got something, all you need is, if you got $1 or $2, I don't give a shit how much it is.
I don't think people understand that being a content creator and a podcaster, the computer is kind of like a football helmet to a player.
Man, you nothing.
You can't do nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, it's a blog there, Crimson. No doubt about it. There's a blog there. I saw it, and it's set up for Samo, but we don't know if Samo. We don't know. So the blog will be there regardless.
And so anybody who is checking out the what do you call it? Not the blog, but the website, you know, whether it be the content, whether it be the blogs from myself, Nomad, Samo, or Kids, whoever, you know where the support's going. So when Nomad says, "Hey, my fucking laptop is taking a shit," that's a straight up, you know, cry for help. And so if the Nomadiacs can help out, you know, it's much appreciated, because for a football player to play, he needs his helmet on that field. For a podcaster to podcast, you know, we need the computers, the microphones, and all the cameras and technical shit to make this happen. And you know where it's going, because we put, you know, everything we have into this kind of stuff, you know, creatively, time, effort. You know, Nomad could be out doing stuff, other things, spending time with his lady, but not easy, you know, on here with us talking football. So, you know, you can help a brother out, help a network out. And if it's through a membership, cool. If it's through a super chat, cool. But guess what? I don't think Nomad would be opposed if a computer manufacturer is like, "Hey, Nomad Network, why don't you have these computers or this computer on us? Just give us a little shout out." Would you be down with that, Nomad?
Oh, hell yeah. Hell
All
yeah.
right, so let's put that out there. So If you work for or own or know somebody who does computers or sells computers or refurbs or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Beggars can't be choosers, but we want some good shit, because we want to have good programs. You want to be able to make the thumbnails, you want to be able to make the shorts. We want to be able to do the interviews over the streamcast and the live YouTubes. All that technology, yeah, that shit costs. And so any and all support is appreciated.
I'm this low functionality of this computer. Trust me, man. I wouldn't ask if I didn't need it. I wouldn't ask. I wouldn't say shit to nobody. I'll just handle it behind the scenes, and it'll be over with. And you guys will never know about it. I'll just be done, switch it up. And the truth is, I need help, and I avoid asking, and I should ask, man. And so anyway,
real quick, Crimson said it's not the helmet, it's the field. So if you ain't got your computer as a podcaster or a content creator, you ain't doing nada. And he would absolutely look into a refurbished computer.
Here's the only thing about that, Crimson. I understand what you're saying. Stuff the kids will say to me. Freaking Chris, when he was here, he would say stuff like that to me. But here's what happens when you're doing this kind of stuff. Like when you come from where I come from, that knew absolutely nothing, and all of a sudden you learning how to work. You're learning how to do stuff and do it on. Next thing you know, you're going from a low level producing podcaster to starting to step your game up and starting to see why you paid this kind of money for your Mac computer. It's got some features to it that you can't really get nowhere else, man. And the functionality of it, the other apps out there, I can't really describe it, but your workflow, at the end of the day, your workflow, how fast can I get this done? How long does it take me to do this? That's everything. So in between the next podcast, when we start getting into the season, the stuff going to come out way more faster than it is right now in the off season, and it's about your workflow, Crimson. So if you used to working with a Mac versus a PC, no need in fucking with that, man. I know how well I can get some stuff out there and how much faster. Trips and Kids have seen me go from zero to where I am right now, and they're just like, damn, it got to be like, damn, he's learning. And I'm learning that stuff on a Mac, and so I don't want to fuck that up. It's too close to the season right now to start relearning. It's just not good right now, in my opinion. So I appreciate anything that anybody can do to help us out. Man, I need that in a bad way, man. I really do. I know most people don't like Macs. Most people don't like Apple, but that's just how I function, man. And hopefully you all can forgive me for working with a MacBook to do the podcast and do all this creation, man. But that's just how I work, man. That's my workflow. So I love you all in advance. Hopefully you all can help me out, man, before the season gets started. I would love to see myself get this in the next couple, 2-3 weeks. It will help me get more content out here, and I can be more comfortable when we're doing these podcasts and doing all this other stuff, man. So I thank you all in advance, man. I want to say that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Chef Trips, wherever you are. If you sleep, you slobbing from eating all that bologna sandwich and cheese and onions and farting and whatever you're doing. Listen, love you, bro. And my guy Triple R right here, man, love you to death, man. I ain't bullshitting with you. And shout out to my guy, the Canuck, who ain't here tonight, who I knew wanted to be here, but we'll get him right next week, man. We'll get him back on here. I'll make him get down on bended knee and tell him to apologize to you all for missing the show. He never misses podcast. He hates it. So I want to say to you all, thank you. Love you all. Hit that Cash App to help me out, get this goddamn thing right before we get into the season. Do not want to be lacking out here. You know we get it done over here on the Nomad Network. So help me get this new computer, man. We did it for Brian. We can do it for me too. So love you all, and I want to leave you with these famous words. If you can think it and you can see it, there's no reason in the world why you cannot absolutely manifest it. Do not, and I repeat, do not be a prisoner of your own mind. But with that being said, we are out.